Good evening.
Should talk a little louder, Betsy.
Good evening, and oh, thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I got it.
Test.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, are you good?
We're good.
Okay. Thank you, audience at home, for your patience. CNET was having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so it looks like we're ready. We've had the pledge. We now have some announcements, and I'm going to actually have our township manager talk about Savvy Citizen.
Yeah, so I would just like to state that the township now has our own app. It's Savvy Citizen. You can download it through the Savvy Citizen app from the App Store on your Apple or your Android. Go into it, put in your address. It will pull up hyper-local notifications. I will note this is extremely important as we start night work on Valley Vista Drive this week. That will be consuming Ryan Scanlon's time until next week when it's done. So again, Valley Vista night work will be starting. Sign up for our app and you will get all the latest information that you need.
I have it on mine. I always like to show that off. I got all the notices about the thunderstorms and challenge of flooding this weekend. So thank you very much. Any additions to the posted agenda? Okay, seeing none. We are at a moment of public comments. Does anybody have anything they wish to address the board about? It's not related to an item on the agenda. Okay, seeing none. We're going to move on to public hearings and presentations, and we're going to start with the proposed ordinance 2026-653, which is amending the township's backyard chicken regulation. So I'll have our farmer manager over here take it away.
So we adopted our backyard chicken ordinance in 2009. We allow chickens in our residential zoning districts, and they're only allowed on half-acre or larger lots. They're also allowed in our agricultural districts. And no more than 4 chickens are allowed per one family dwelling, and no more than 8 chickens are allowed per one family dwelling for lots 2 acres or greater in the A1 rural or R1 rural residential zoning districts. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to amend the ordinance for 2 reasons. Number one, we want to make sure that we're providing more flexibility to our residents themselves. So we're dropping that half-acre requirement and going down to 3,000 to 10,999 square feet. You can have 4 chicken hens. 11,000 to 20,999 square feet, you can have 6 chicken hens. And 21,000 square feet or over, you can have 8 chicken hens. Roosters are always prohibited on lots that are less than 10 acres in size. This also brings our ordinance into compliance with Pennsylvania's right to farm law, so that lots that are 10 acres or larger in an ag district can have as many chicken hens and roosters as they would like to have. And I would like to note, because we got a question about this from a resident, chickens are always required to be kept in a coop. They cannot run at large on your property if you're in a residential zoning district.
Thank you very much. And I would like to add that from experience, or actually from stories, that you actually want to have them in a coop because we have a lot of animals that are looking for things to eat, like chickens. Any comments from, sorry, I need to officially open the public hearing. So opened. Are there any comments from the public, either in our township building or online? Any questions, concerns, things to crow about? Sorry.
There's nobody online.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, there is somebody?
There's nobody on.
Thank you, okay. I thought I was missing something. So seeing that there are no comments, any from the board? I should have to ask our esteemed board. Okay, great. I can now close the public hearing.
I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Thank you, Mr. Magruder. The board have any additional comments? Or are you ready to present a motion in a second?
I'll move. the
Okay.
motion, as written.
Okay, do you want to read that? Do you mind reading it aloud for our audience at home? Do we,
The board shall, let's see.
do we have it written out? Sorry, yes,
Well,
then?
the whole thing,
No, okay.
the amendment is that with a 3,000 to 10,
You're
Amy pretty much described it.
Yeah, you're approving proposed ordinance 2026-653, amending the township's backyard chicken regulations. That's the motion.
Okay, thanks, sorry about that, Heidi.
As
Didn't mean
Amy
to put
just
you
said.
under- Okay, what Amy said.
Second.
Second, okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we've got our chicken ordinance. Y'all ought to be glad I didn't clap at that one. All right, we are moving on to, sorry. Okay, we now have proposed ordinance 2026-655, amending Chapter 400, Article 5, Schedule 12.
Yeah, so this adds several no parking areas into our ordinances. The first is Grays Woods Boulevard on the median between Spring Glen Place and Hunterwood Way. The second is Grays Woods Boulevard on the north side of the road from the intersection of Spring Glen Place east 241 feet. The next is Brynwood Drive at the end in the gravel area. And the last is Amblewood Way, south side, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., all except non-school days as defined by State College Area School District, from 147 feet southwest of the intersection of Amblewood Way and Park Forest Elementary School driveway to 60 feet northeast of the center line of the intersection of Amblewood Way and the same reference school driveway.
Okay. Any comments from the, we'll go ahead and have the public hearing. So I'm going to open the public hearing. Do I need a motion to do that? I can
Yes,
do that.
you could just open it.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. All right. Any comments from the public concerning this ordinance? Any comments from our TV audience or online audience? I'm seeing none.
Need a
Can I
motion to close.
Have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. The public hearing is now closed, and I'll ask the board, are there any additional comments or other comments you can make? No? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for all right, a motion
So moved.
and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. So we've, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we've got our amended ordinance and, or ordinance amending. And we're on to Disability Pride Month proclamation. And I would, that's 3C, sorry about that. And I apologize, I've been on the road all day and I'm a little bit disoriented here. Okay. Is there,
Terry Watson's
is
here.
Terry Watson here?
Yep.
Ah, sorry. Again, I've been on the road. Sorry about that. So I want to thank Terry Watson for bringing this to our attention and for facilitating the creation of the resolution. And I would like to actually read the proclamation myself, having grown up with a cousin who has Down syndrome and I currently have a husband who is wheelchair-bound. So this is very near and dear to me, and I know to many of you in the audience. This is a proclamation proclaiming July as Disability Pride Month. Whereas, during Disability Pride Month, we recognize and celebrate the equal rights, dignity, history, and contribution of people with disabilities. We affirm that disability is a natural and viable part of human diversity. And whereas, July 26, 2026 marks the 36th anniversary of Americans with Disability Act, the ADA, one of the most important civil rights laws in our nation's history. Passed in 1990, the ADA has transformed life for millions, ensuring access and protections across employment, education, transportation, public accommodations, and much more. And whereas Patton Township continues to strive to be a place for all, we honor those who have fought and continue to fight for disability rights and accessibility. Their courage has helped build a more just, equitable, and inclusive society. We acknowledge there is always more that can be done and needs to be done. And whereas Disability Pride Month challenges us to confront and dismantle ableism in all its forms. It amplifies voices, leadership, and creativity of people with disabilities and reminds us that their lives are full, valuable, and worthy. And whereas this year's theme, "The World Works Better with Us," reminds us that when people with disabilities are included, respected, supported, and heard, our whole community is stronger. Disability-led advocacy and design have helped create changes that benefit everyone, from curb cuts and captioning to accessible technology, transportation, public spaces, and civic life. And whereas Patton Township aims to ensure our services empower the disability community and our policies reflect our belief that inclusion and accessibility benefit everyone. We are committed to centering the needs, hopes, leadership, and perspectives of people with disabilities as we work together to build a future of dignity, opportunity, and belonging for all. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Patton Township Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim July as Disability Pride Month. We invite everyone to join us in celebrating and supporting our friends, neighbors, and visitors who live with disability. Any comments? Would it be appropriate to?
Yes, call Terry up.
Would someone in the audience like to come up and speak on this? I thought so.
I'm keeping it short because I'm actually running today. Those who know, I have to be busy during the weekday.
So introduce yourself because,
Yes,
believe it or not, someone might not know who you are.
That's okay. So, hello, my name is Terry Watson. First, I'm a Patton Township resident. I have the pleasure of serving as Director for Accessibility and Inclusion at World Campus here at Penn State. Also, the Patton representative for the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and as well as the chair for CCU and the founder for Strategies for Justice. So staying busy. I just want to say, one, that this proclamation is really important this year. I think, as you mentioned, we celebrated the 35th anniversary last year, and there were so many programs happening, there were so many efforts happening, and I'll say here locally, especially here at Patton Township, there has been a lot of effort put towards accessibility and accessible government, so I thank y'all for that. One thing I want to share real shortly is that at Penn State, there is a performing arts and disability colloquium that's happening this year, which is going to be faculty and staff and graduate students who's going to put on programs with the arts and disability. I get to lead that charge this September with disability and poetry. But all year long, there will be programs around the arts and disability. So I would encourage all residents to attend if they're able. and definitely to show up. So that's pretty much it, and I just want to thank y'all for putting this proclamation together.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it forward. Okay. So should we?
We'll take a picture.
But we should probably
Vote on it,
Okay.
yes.
Do I have a motion to establish this proclamation?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks. And all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Oh.
Aye?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay.
I had a comment, but whatever.
Oh, well, then, does anybody have a comment? Yes, you do?
Yeah, just quickly, I appreciate this proclamation. I appreciate the continued acknowledgement of just the diversity of the human experience in this world, and the importance of understanding that those with disabilities, the efforts that they've taken to advocate for their needs also benefit the people who are more able-bodied and able-minded. And so, again, just appreciative of this being brought to us and us being able to acknowledge this and approve it.
Yeah, and bring it to attention. Great. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Terry. So, picks. Yep, so quick.
We're not in front of the screen.
I guess, but I don't know.
Okay, ready? Thank you. Okay. We good.
Oh, great. Okay, so that brings us to, I see the chief is ready. That brings us to public safety, and I'll turn it over to Chief Tyler Jolly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm ready tonight. I apologize for my report being delayed a little bit. I was on vacation towards the end of the month and the beginning of this month, so I know, I was slacking. I apologize. Thank you. Our officers in June, we stopped 132 vehicles, wrote 25 traffic citations, wrote 14 parking tickets. We handled 20 criminal arrests. Our bike patrol rode 86 miles. They did 98 business checks. They handled 4 incidents and did 6 vacation home checks. Under department notes, we arrested a 47-year-old male for theft. That male was employed in making a delivery to a residence in Patton Township. While he was inside that residence, he made the unwise decision to take $1,500 worth of property that belonged to the resident, and our officers were able to catch up with him. A 19-year-old male was arrested for trespassing. He had an incident earlier with a store in the township where he was given a trespass notice and told by the police he was not to return. He did come back and then remained in the store until our officers arrived and took him into custody for that. A 24-year-old male was arrested for harassment. Our victim called us and reported that her ex-boyfriend had contacted her over 100 times on her phone by text and phone calls after she had clearly warned him that she did not want any contact with him. We made 10 arrests for retail theft, 3 for driving under the influence. We served 11 warrants of the 15 that we attempted, and we conducted 10 vacation home checks. We did use force during one incident in the month of June. We assisted the Pennsylvania State Police, contacted us to let us know that they had investigated a crash, involved an individual who was being transported to the hospital via ambulance, who was intoxicated. While en route, he decided to start physically assaulting the EMS workers that were in the back with him trying to care for him. So they pulled over along Interstate 99, just outside of the township line. We were a lot closer than the state police, so our officers got there. As they were removing that individual from the back of the ambulance, he began to fight with our officers. They had to take him to the ground and then utilized a taser to drive stun him to get his hands free and to secure his hands and handcuff him. That male did sustain a few minor scrapes from the tussle. One of our officers also did receive some injuries, some bruises to his hands, elbows, forearms, and both of his knees. But he is totally recovered and back on duty. State police are filing charges, DUI, as well as the arrest and the assault on the EMS workers as well. Under community relations, Officer Kaufman and Officer Kreis attended and assisted with the Bellefonte Cruise, the annual car show in Bellefonte. Under training department activities, Officer Schaefer and Officer Tuskovich attended tactical response team training. Sergeant Schaefer attended active shooter incident management training. Officer Tuskovich attended the annual Pennsylvania School Resource Officer Conference. Some of our officers completed their biannual emergency vehicle operations recertification. Officer Snyder and Graff did their annual recertification. It's a 4-day training. They passed with flying colors. Everything went really smoothly. Graff was also deployed on 5 occasions in the month of June. One of those was for a track for a burglary suspect. Didn't take him quite right to where the person was heading, but he did get them going in the right direction, and they did apprehend the person a little bit later on. The other 4 were for vehicle sniffs. Graff did hit on 2 vehicles out of the 4. Both of those vehicles were searched. The one had some drug paraphernalia in it. The other one had 45 grams of methamphetamine, 620 grams of marijuana, and a firearm. So he did a really good job in the month. I attended training on NIBRS reporting for our new records management system and Jacob Phillips' graduation ceremony at IUP. And as I note here, that we welcome Jacob Phillips as our newest police officer with the Patton Township Police Department. He graduated the academy in June, and he has started his field training with us here last week. A few notes of appreciation. I won't read all this, but the first one is for Sergeant Bardzell. Resident had some property damage from the result of a hit and run. At first, we didn't know, had no leads. Got some video from some local ring cameras, things like that. Officer Bardzell did a fantastic job following up on it, tracking down a suspect and eventually making an arrest and making sure that those folks had got their property taken care of. The next one was for Officer Brahosky. On June 3rd, Officer Brahosky responded to a residence in Patton Township for a male who was in cardiac arrest. He did provide CPR and also utilized one of our AEDs, which did provide a shock. By the time the EMS arrived, they took over. The patient had regained consciousness, though, and was speaking to them. So he did a fantastic job getting that individual resuscitated. The next was for Officer Sunderland. We recognized him in June here, but it was actually an incident he handled back in April 10th of 2026. He had responded to a vehicle that was disabled on a roadway in the township. There was a female experiencing a mental health crisis inside. You know Officer Sunderland. He is probably one of the most compassionate, very well-spoken officers that we have. Did an absolutely fantastic job in de-escalating this woman, eventually talking her into going to the hospital for the care that she needed. However, once she got to the hospital, she did make a comment that was kind of concerning, relating to an issue or an incident that occurred in another county. So he coordinated with the police department from that county, and that female actually was later charged with involuntary manslaughter and simple assault. So he did a really nice job coordinating that response. But again, Officer Sunderland does a fantastic job that helped out the female who was in crisis, got her the care she needed, and then also made sure that she was held accountable for a serious crime as well. Got a real short notice from Chief Whitmer at Bellefonte, again thanking our officers for their assistance. Bellefonte Cruise is a fairly large event for the Bellefonte Police Department to handle, so they do ask for some mutual aid, and generally all the police departments around here are happy to oblige that. The photograph of Officer Phillips. We're at his graduation at the IUP Police Academy where he attended. So I had the opportunity to go and present him with his certification from MOPEC. So try to at some point get him before the board here so you guys can meet him in person. And then lastly, just a note from, actually it's the children's librarian at SHLO, thanking Officer Snyder and Graff who came and did a demonstration. She just mentions that a lot of the families stopped afterwards and thanked them for them coming and providing that service, providing a presentation that everybody really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. Lastly, calls for service. For the month of June, we had 396 calls for service. That's down from the 485 in May. The biggest discrepancy there is there was only a few days of school in June. So a lot of that would be our school checks. It would be why we saw the serious drop in calls for service. But 48 of our calls for service were health and safety, EMS assists, and 46 were traffic related. That completes my report.
Thank you very much. And thank you again for your diligent work and that you and your department. Any comments or adulations? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are now on to Public Works. We have two items under Public Works. The first concerns the Grays Woods Preserve, and this is an opportunity to work cooperatively with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. It's a program called 400 Acres, and we'll have our manager speak on that.
Yeah, so as Supervisor Whitman said, our Open Space Committee has been in discussions with the Pennsylvania Game Commission to have the township enter into a habitat management agreement for the 400 Areas program for the Grays Woods Preserve. If you've ever been out to Grays Woods Preserve, you understand we share a common boundary with Scotia. Scotia and Grays Woods have essentially the same ecosystem. Again, we share a common boundary with them. What this agreement does is it allows the Game Commission to manage the preserve and the activities that are in our forestry management plan for the township, and it won't cost the township any money. So this is going to save us a tremendous amount of money. There's a lot of sensitive habitat inside Grays Woods Preserve that needs to be dealt with and worked on, and they can do things cooperatively amongst the two properties now. And this was also the reason why we smoothed the property line between Grays Woods Park and Grays Woods Preserve. There is one change that we will need to make to our open space ordinance. Because of the way the property boundary is, we're going to use Heritage Trail Road as the boundary for hunting. So on the park side, and I don't know my directions, north and south, I'm the worst, but on the park side, it will be archery hunting only, and then on the, I think it's the south side, the Grays Woods Preserve side will be allowed to have guns and shooting over there, regular hunting, all hunting. So right now we allow all hunting on all of our open space properties. So you'll actually see that ordinance next month to get that enacted in September before hunting season really kicks off again. But we are very excited about this opportunity to work with the Game Commission. They've been incredible partners as we've been working on this. Heidi knows, she's been involved. Betsy was involved a little bit as well. And Betsy Dupuy did review the agreement for us, and we've worked closely with them to get changes incorporated, but this agreement's ready for action now.
Great. So that's, any comments or questions from anyone? Board members? Yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think we've been working on it for over a year. It was first introduced and was in the Open Space Stewardship Committee. I'll accept a motion.
I'd like to make the motion.
I would love it if you did.
Can be made to approve entering into the habitat management agreement for the PA Game Commissioner, the Commission's 400 area program for the Grays Wood Preserve.
Oh, great. Yeah, glad to hear that. A second?
No, sir.
Okay. Any more comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, go for it. Super. And the second item under Public Works is the Resolution 2026-09, authorizing the submission of a DCED multimodal grant for Circleville Road, which could benefit from this grant money.
So I'll take that one. So I'm requesting authorization to submit a DCED multimodal grant for Circleville Road. We've submitted a previous grant to PennDOT in the amount of $246,000. We've done some recent repairs in the other limits that would be made up of these limits. For instance, the Township line to the Patton Woods parking area. The cross-section of the roadway is much thinner than what we thought as far as the asphalt and the lack of stone subbase. So we've looked at other ways to kind of recoup that. The initially proposed method is inadequate to provide a lasting road. So we would like to apply for an additional grant, the DCED grant, and do FDR. So that's full depth reclamation, They use the existing soils, subgrade, and asphalt that's there, apply an additional material, Portland cement, for example, and then would overlay the roadway like you would for inch and a half north. There is an additional expense to that, and that is what those, the new grant would cover. We're also proposing to put in centerline rumble strips within those limits as well, and then do a little bit of shoulder backup.
Shore backup? What'd you say?
Yeah, shoulder backup, so we're raising the profile of the road a little bit. So we would just have to kind of tie the asphalt into the existing grades.
I have some questions.
Sure.
So one is, was that, you already did the road, or over a couple of years maybe, for, between maybe that entrance to Patton Woods and going up to was that Scotia Road or whatever? Was that done differently, so you didn't need to do as much of work on it?
Yes, so the last couple of years from Scotia up to the park entrance at Circleville Park, we've done microsurfacing. That microsurfacing and prep of that, we've done base repair and mill fills. So we've removed the existing asphalt and stone and put base and repaired it. Those limits are up to, this year we went to Carrigan with those repairs because we're going to microsurface to Carrigan. So there will be a little bit of overlap from this project, this FDR project, to what we have right now with the limits of microsurfacing. But it's much needed.
I'm not disputing that, I'm just kind of curious whether the one that had already been done, it seemed like it didn't need as much extensive work.
So it's a different item of work. Microsurfacing is a maintenance, so it's just a thin 3/8 half-inch. It's made up of asphalt and aggregate, and it's a treatment, a surface treatment. It's not provide any structural stability to the roadway. It's just kind of sealing your... Right,
but you don't need, that road is okay after what you did. That's all I'm getting at.
Correct.
It's just different in the foundation. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. And then what I wanted to ask, are you going to do anything with this submission? Will that improve anything for the pedestrians and bicyclists at all?
So right now, no. We've had discussions internally about, there's been discussions by the board to put in a shared use path or widening that would provide that accessibility from the park or Patton Woods to Valley Vista. The right-of-way through there is only 33 feet. So we would have to, if you would like to move forward with that approach, we would have to acquire additional right-of-way to provide that accessibility.
Okay. All right, well, just wanted to ask.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question about the rumble strips.
Yes.
Was there a rationale behind that? Is to hopes of making it a safer road or discouraging
Centerline rumble strips are a low-cost safety improvement. So because of the safety benefits of them, we proposing to put them in.
Okay. Is that area, there are a lot of blind curves in that area, vertical and horizontal areas?
I would say blind curves, but there are horizontal curves.
Yeah, okay. Horizontal then, okay. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. So we have a motion before us.
We don't have a motion.
I'm sorry. We need to have a motion.
We need a motion, all right.
That's what I meant to say. Okay.
Can I
get a motion? Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll move.
So moved, what Ryan just explained, and getting the grant.
I'll second.
And we're allowed to submit the grant applications, but I mean, and we got a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, go ahead with that grant. Sounds good. We're moving on to planning and zoning, and we begin with a report from the Planning Commission. Should be Sharon Collins? Is
Yep,
Sharon here or
Sharon's on
online?
Zoom.
Okay. You ready, Sharon? Thank you.
So first, I guess, on the agenda is the Park Forest Middle School Land Development Plan, which we pretty lengthy. We went through that and we recommended approval. Did you want me to read the whole thing? Or?
Oh,
No, you don't have to
no,
do that, Sharon.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Sorry, I could not hear
You don't have to do that, Sharon.
Okay. And then the next thing that we covered was the Curve Hill temporary use, Curve Hill Road temporary use permit, which Amy has provided you all the details of at your place, at your desk there. And I think we were leaning towards the first option, option one. And we recommended that for approval with proper notifications and trace point conditions. And so that's there for your perusal to go over. And then the Patton Crossing revised master plan, we recommended approval of that. And then the Hackner Farm Cafe temporary use with special events permit, they had asked for a waiver, requested a waiver. And we had approved that as long as they notified all of their, let's see, where am I? As long as they notified their adjacent property owners of the waiver request, and this was for noise. And then I think that was it. Is there, and then adding data centers as a conditional use in the industrial zoning district. And we approved that for to go forward to you for decisions.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to, oh, did you have anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off. But I wanted to commend the Planning Commission for the work that it spent on many items this last week, not the least of which was the Park Forest Middle School. And they've done a lot of due diligence on that. So I really, Sharon's abbreviated report didn't do justice to the amount of conversation that we had, very important conversation. So thank you, Sharon, for being a part of the Planning Commission. So we are, sorry, I'm losing my place here. So we've had the report of the Planning Commission, and now we are going to go on to the meat of the matter, which is the Park Forest Middle School, the land development plan. And
Jenna's going to take that.
Jenna's going to take that.
Jenna will
Okay,
start.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. So ELA Group, on behalf of their clients, State College Area School District, has submitted the Park Forest Area Middle School Land Development Plan.
Jenna, can you speak a little louder or into the mic? Thanks. It's from me, mostly.
All right. So what we have today, the board is probably very familiar with this area. We have seen 2 past actions on that. I will briefly review those for you. Today's, the subject for today is the physical land development plan, specifically related to the site that's outlined in this red box. That is the R1 zoning district. That is the location of the middle school. So the proposal is a 3-story, 278,000 square foot middle school. It has 384 on-site parking spaces and 68 off-site parking spaces that are located on Cross Valley Vista on the existing middle school site. Past actions related to this plan, the board saw the lot consolidation plan in relation to this lot and the one that is running adjacent to Valley Vista. That consolidation went through in February. And then the conditional use application, and that was for the use of this site as a school. And the conditional use, it is a use that is permitted in a specified zoning district, and it may just be subject to additional conditions because of the intensity of the use located on that site. And the board did receive that application, reviewed and approved that at the February meeting as well. So that was from my lot consolidation. I did include some of the renderings, so we saw that at the joint school board, planning commission, board of supervisors meeting that we had, just to give everyone a reminder of how tight this site is and the topography that we are dealing with on the site in question. We have the classroom wing here, as well as the east facade of this, and then the north and west facade for the school. So the specifics related to this plan, I'm really going to highlight what we have here, roughly the purple box. This is the area where that middle school is going to be located. The blue areas, those are your 2 subsurface and 2 surface stormwater facilities related to this school proposal. And I also have highlighted, there's a small red square at the bottom. There's going to be some realignment of that parking lot for the park. That results in us losing about 6 parking spaces on that side of the parking lot. They will be relocated to where that red box is throughout this project. The biggest change since the board has seen this plan, originally we were looking at traffic impact study to see if a light was warranted at Little Lion Drive. It did not meet those warrants necessarily. The reality was, once the traffic study came back, Amblewood was the area of top concern. So the light at the intersection of Amblewood was approved this winter, and that will be located there. Additionally, the flashing beacon that is currently located at Little Lion Drive will remain there. And in addition to that, there will be a gate that will be closed during drop-off and pickup times for the school, essentially forcing all school traffic to that lighted intersection and funneled through the school property and so forth to ideally increase the safety aspect of drop-off and pickup for the school site. I believe, in addition to that, so there were 2 modification requests submitted for this land development plan. One request was for a reduction in 12 parking spaces. We met many times with the school district and significantly decreased this request to 12, and we are very happy with what we ended up with, as well as the bicycle parking requirements. And this is specifically in relation to the indoor storage requirements that we have in our saldo. So the applicant is proposing the use of they have lighted canopies proposed for some long-term parking spaces on site, as well as the school district's policy. They do permit teachers and office staff to bring their own bikes into their classrooms and offices. And our saldo requires that there are secure lockers within the buildings and whatnot, and having the ability for the teachers and staff to bring their bikes into their own classrooms. We believe that is an appropriate modification request, and staff is in support of those. Planning Commission did review this on Monday. They did recommend approval subject to the staff comment letters that are included in the agenda. I believe those were all the big ones that we had.
And I just want to jump in and talk about the traffic. This was an unbelievably complicated plan. Township staff, I would like to commend my staff. We've gone over and above to help the school district through this process. We've been meeting with them since 2024, pretty much monthly, to try to get through the various elements of this plan. So again, the narrative that we've held up the plan is not actually true. On the traffic side of things, and I know that was a big concern when we met jointly with the Planning Commission, Jenna mentioned what's happening with the traffic signal at Amblewood Way after we had approved that signal at Little Lion. We also additionally, we're partnering with the school district and possibly Ferguson Township, I have to follow up with them, to complete a traffic calming study for the Valley Vista corridor. Some of you may be aware, Valley Vista, when it was built, it was actually intended to be what's called the outer loop. It was supposed to be a 4-lane road that went from North Atherton Street to Route 26, West College Avenue. And that was planned and talked about from the 1970s on. That's why Valley Vista is actually a limited access highway. The supervisors did that in the early 1980s because there were plans for this 4-lane road along there. Those plans fell apart in the 1990s. Our section of Valley Vista Drive is very pedestrian aggressive because if you drive on that road, you think you're on a highway. It's a very wide road. We have our shared use path, which provides safe passage for people on bicycles and walking that is off the road, but our speeds on that road are very high. PennDOT is aware of that. They don't love the speeds out there. So we have some challenges, and I think the biggest challenge with this project is you have children who will be 11, 12 years old and not maybe making the best decisions, wanting to go from Park Forest across Valley Vista to the school, and how do we get them there safely? How do we slow cars down? So we're going to do a traffic calming study. Again, the school district's partnering with us on that to look at the corridor from Carnegie to Devonshire and look at how we can slow things down, if we can do some kind of traffic calming measures in addition to the traffic signal that is going in and the rapid flashing beacon. Additionally, the school district has agreed to complete a post-construction traffic impact study so that we can see 6 months to a year after the school is in and functioning how things are working and if there are additional items that need to be addressed. But I want you and I want the residents of Patton Township to know that we have taken these concerns very seriously on our side, and the school district has partnered with us to try to find solutions to these concerns, very legitimate concerns with this site.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I would like to commend also our staff for the diligence. I know it's an unusual amount of time that you've spent with this particular project compared to others that I'm aware of, but also to commend the school district for its consistent and persistence, and having worked actually on another school project, sort of from an outside perspective, but I know what went on behind the scenes on that, and it takes a village. It takes sometimes a lot of time and discussion and openness about the whole process. So really commend both sides. So
Can I just add one more thing?
Oh, absolutely.
There's
yeah.
just one additional condition I want to make sure doesn't get lost, and that was some concerns we had with some ADA requirements not being met on the plans as they were met perhaps with the code office. So we've just asked that the curb ramps and the other ADA issues from June, that we've noted on June 22nd be actually included on the plan. So I want to make sure that condition is listed in here, but want to make sure that gets on as well, so you're aware of that.
Okay. Is that spelled out in the?
It is.
Okay, great. I'm just looking for the suggested motion. So discussion on this. Do members of the audience want to come up and speak on any part of this plan? Any questions, any concerns, any frustrations? Last words. Thank you for your patience. Anyone on the board have anything to say or ask questions about?
I have a few thoughts. The only one I'll ask is, I guess, to your last point related to the post-construction traffic impact study. So if it was determined that something needed to be modified, I guess the mandate for the school district, like they're mandated to comply with that, or?
Yes, we would make that a part of the condition, that they would comply with that, yes.
Got it.
Anything else? Okay. Heidi, yes.
I had
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
question. I just wanted to ask, when you're closing the gate on Little Lion, how does that affect access to Circleville Park?
So Circleville Park will be, during the hours of drop-off and pickup, you'll be limited to get to Circleville Park when the school is in session, drop-off and pickup. You can access it from the back, from Circleville Road.
You can't access it from Valley Vista?
But you won't be able to access it from Valley Vista during that limited period of time in the morning and the afternoon on
Okay,
school days.
Like an hour?
Yeah, whatever, I don't know what their drop-off and pickup times are, but we'll make sure that Center Region Parks and Rec is aware of that. Susan Wheeler's aware of that as well. There is a residence on Little Lion that will have to have access in and out of their property, which the school district is aware of as well.
And so the parks and people are okay with this then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ryan is something to add.
You would actually be able to access it off of Amblewood, so you would just have to go up to Amblewood and then you could circle back down to get access.
Oh, I see,
to it.
that too. Okay, so you'd go through the school kind of?
Yes.
Yes, you would have to fight with
With the school
drop-off.
traffic.
That's
Okay.
true, I probably wouldn't want to do it.
But you still have that accessibility.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. Hi, Pam.
Amy, I just have a question. Have we also talked to CATA, because this is right down the street from me, and I know the CATA bus line changed during the transition. So we went from one route going down Galen to Amblewood. It used to go down Galen and make the right to go to Valley Vista. Have we talked to CATA along with our transition?
Yeah, we'll make sure that CAT is aware of the traffic signal coming and how that may or may not impact their routes through there. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions? Okay. I will accept a motion as, and I would ask somebody to read it as written in the agenda.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary final Park Forest Middle School Land Development Plan and Modification Waiver Request, subject to the Township staff comment letters dated August 22nd, 2025, October 31st, 2025, December 19th, 2025, and January 16th, 2026, February 6th, 2026, May 15th, 2026, and June 18th, 2026, and corrections to the curb ramps to meet ADA compliance.
Second?
Second.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. All those, any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. There we go. Thank you. We are now going on to the Curve Hill Road temporary use permit. And are you
I'll
taking
take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's a little more complicated because of some late breaking information that we got Monday morning. So Hawbaker Engineering, on behalf of Glenn O. Hawbaker, is requesting a temporary use permit for a proposed fill site on Curve Hill Road. That site is in our A1 Ag District and is approximately 144 acres in size. Glenn O. Hawbaker is proposing to utilize a portion of the site for the placement of excess site material generated during the construction and removal of clean fill material generated from the Park Forest Middle School project. The proposed fill area is located within the same limits of the site that is historically used for the placement of excess construction material from the construction of both I-99 and North Atherton Street. The intent of the proposed grading plan is to place and grade the material in a manner consistent with existing site grading patterns and to maintain compatibility with the surrounding topography. There's a proposed widening of the gravel driveway that will be temporary, and the width of the driveway will be returned to the current width of approximately 9 feet after they're done hauling out there. As the project is completed, soil will be placed over the fill material and seeded, returning the site to a meadow condition. Contractors proposing construction operations to begin as early as this month. with a projected completion date of 2028 or 2029, which is approximately 3 years once initiating the activities. We had met with Hallbaker Engineering and the owner of that site, who is Mr. John Impt, back in May to discuss this. We've had these conversations for a couple of months now. Ryan was out on a project site last Thursday and anecdotally found out from a contractor that they were proposing to use the Grace Point development to place fill from the school. So Monday morning, Nicole Harder, the zoning officer, and myself spent the morning on the phone trying to figure out what was happening, because that was the first we had heard of Grace Point being a possible location for fill from the school district's project. What we found out is that, yes, they would actually like to use Grace Point. They have space to take the fill out there, but there are things they have to do to use Grace Point. Number one being they have to submit a land development plan that shows that site being used for fill. Number two being they have to certify that their NPDES permit through DEP and the Conservation District is actually amended to include that fill. They claim that it is. They have to get some certifications to us. So we talked about this at some length Monday. We talked about this at some length Monday at the Planning Commission meeting. And we have come up with the best possible path forward that allows the school district to start work on their project using the Curve Hill site as the fill site for now. And then once Grace Point, everything is checked for Grace Point, we would like to propose that we shut off the Curve Hill site unless they can show that they need to use both for the fill, and then they can use Grace Point. So what I did for you, because again, this is very complicated, I typed up the conditions and put them at your place separately. It's 3 pages of conditions related to this. We were told by, and Eric from Hallbaker Engineering is here tonight, we were told that the selected route that they would like to travel for the fill is Little Lion Drive and or Amblewood Way to Valley Vista Drive to North Atherton Street to Curve Hill Road. This is for the Curve Hill site. They would also like to use that route to go to Grace Point because, as we just mentioned 5 minutes ago, Circleville Road is not in great shape and really should not be taking 14,000 tri-axle trucks, which is approximately what will be coming out of that site. 14,000, 200,000 cubic yards of fill. So we have conditions in front of you. The Planning Commission added a condition that the construction entrance at Amblewood be constructed within 90 to 120 days of the temporary use permit being granted by the township, and that they begin using the construction entrance on Amblewood to take the traffic off of Little Lion, which is a conflict with the private residents and the park and some other concerns, and that the Planning Commission asked for a progress report within 60 days on the construction of that entrance. Also, they added a condition that Center Region Parks and Rec be notified so that they're aware of what is going on out there and how this may impact their operations, and also we can let park users know ahead of time as well that trucks will be out there. Again, I've listed all the conditions for you. Again, there's a lot. We added some pertaining just to Grace Point and using that site. The biggest one of that is that in addition to getting a land development plan approved, certifying that you have the permit through the state for this, we would like the residents in Graysdale, Marywood, Brynwood, Grace Point, along Scotia Road and along Meeks Lane to be made aware of the hauling activities by letter to be sent no later than 5 days before hauling is to begin. And also we would like written approval from the Grace Woods Partnership allowing the use of Grace Point for that fill material. So again, it's a lot. I have to commend Nicole because she really was a detective on this, and I appreciate, and Ryan was the one who sounded the initial flag, I guess, and then we met with Betsy as well Monday morning, but we have done a heck of a job to try to pull this together so that action can be taken and fill can still come out of the site so that they can utilize the months before school starts again.
I was glad to see that.
Where is Grace Point?
That's where Suton lives, actually.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
It's the
I'm
back
looking
of
on the
Grays
map.
Woods.
I was trying to look, okay.
It's the very back of Grays Woods, where they're still developing.
Okay.
Right by Grays Woods Park, back behind it.
And there's already a lot of issues out
So are
there.
you-
So
Yeah,
those communities will not be happy about this.
yeah, I was gonna wonder about that.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, sure.
My question, in hauling, what is the time frame? Because you're looking at, is this why the students are out of school?
They're
Or-
going to be hauling all year.
all year?
Yes, and we have set conditions on the use of Valley Vista that they are not to haul, and this, we had a police officer, because the chief was away, in our meeting on this, but they are not to haul during the peak AM and PM hours because the traffic on Valley Vista cannot handle triaxle trucks.
Well, they can't handle it on Amblewood because that's the school. If you don't.
Yeah, well, they won't be on your side of Amblewood. They'll be on the side that's not built yet.
Oh, okay. All right, because I'm looking at all those school buses,
Yeah, no.
the traffic
Yes.
coming down Amblewood.
Yeah,
Right.
we have legitimate concerns about the AM and the PM peak hours, because if you're on Valley Vista, this is why we're paving at night, frankly. If you're on Valley Vista, you can't get very far at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I would like to add with Valley Vista, and Ryan, I'd like you to address the fill on Valley Vista, how the asphalt depth is on the lower section and then the upper section, because we are asking for an excess maintenance agreement so that our road can be restored. But the lower section, which is what we're paving now, I'd like Ryan to address specifically so the public understands.
So for the public, Valley Vista paving starts tonight. It'll be 8 PM to 6 AM tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday through Thursday morning. The lower section from Carnegie to Atherton, the cross-section, pavement cross-section is 11.5 inches of asphalt, 12 inches of stone. It was built very robust, similar to what PennDOT would use, right? This was a PennDOT project, 2001, I believe, around that duration. The lower section, the southern section from Carnegie to the Township line, we're not really sure what that looks like. We are going to core that to get a better understanding of what the profile looks like, that cross section. So I don't have details on that for you right now. Stay tuned, they're coming. But the lower section, we're really not concerned about the truck traffic on that. We have done, staff have done, we've completed field survey, a walk inspection within those limits of Valley Vista from Little Lion to Atherton, well, to Carnegie, and then again on Curve Hill Road from the interchange, the off-ramp of where Curve Hill starts to the end. Boots on the ground inspection to kind of log distresses, things like that, and to have a baseline for that. We encouraged Hall Baker and the school district to do the same thing, but it's just for everybody's kind of knowledge and see where we are right now.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
So
Yes,
these
Heidi.
asks, are these not just asks, they're required with this agreement?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a condition of the permit.
Okay, so that means you could revoke the permit if these conditions.
Yeah,
are
we
followed?
reserve the right that if any of these conditions are not met, or we're having a lot of issues, just like we do with any temporary use permit, we do this with Walmart every year, that the board can revoke that permit. And the permit's only good for a year, so they have to come back in every year so that we can then adjust if we need to, any of these conditions.
And I'm sorry if you've already said this, but damage to the road from all this weight and everything, that will all be repaired?
There will be an excess maintenance agreement. Right now, Pennsylvania law only allows you to bond for $12,500. I think it's per mile. It's not much. So that's why we're going to do an excess maintenance agreement. So if our section of road is damaged, either one, Curve Hill or Valley Vista, that will be restored, and it will not cost the taxpayers of Patton Township anything.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Grays Woods Boulevard is not included in that?
We will make sure that Grays Woods Boulevard is also looked at and is included, if they start hauling to Grays Point.
It hasn't been up to this point, because we didn't know about it.
We didn't know about
There are
it.
some current concerns with staff within certain limits of Grays Woods Boulevard, but we're going to do a field inspection and a survey and kind of get that baseline on that as well. But we don't have the time right now to do so.
I mean, I appreciate y'all catching it. You're going to hear from a lot of people, for sure.
Well, we've told the school district that they will hear from people. My staff will not put up with angry people related to their project.
Yeah. As far as the construction activities are permitted until sunset.
We're allowing that over the summer when school's not in session to make up for the roughly 4 hours a day they can't haul between the AM and the PM hours. So we're trying to give them extra time. The park closes at sunset. When it's the summer, they have more opportunity to haul things out when the weather is better. So we're trying to give them a little bit of makeup time because of the hours they lose during the day because of the traffic situation out there.
Okay. There's a lot of communities in that area, and we know, and I've heard complaints, I've seen it myself, about the material that gets scattered sort of like on the roadway when they're hauling things in and out. And so is that a consideration as well in making sure that that's routinely mitigated, I guess?
Yes, we will keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Pam?
Due to the climate weather, do they have an extension, if something should go wrong? Like, we've been having these crazy storms, blowing trees down and whatever. In case it is a setback for them, do they have are we giving them a little grace period?
For the installation of the construction road, yes. Yeah, we talked about that at the Planning Commission meeting. We certainly understand that, especially recently, we've had a lot of storms. So we're not going to hold them to 120 days to the letter of the law, but we want to make sure they do their best effort to get that road installed.
Thank you.
All right, can I make a motion?
Yeah, sure.
And this is the one on page 11?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the temporary use permit for property on Kerrville Road, subject to the conditions listed above.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any additional comments from the board? Okay,
Yeah, we'll incorporate these, make it the conditions
okay.
from the distributed this evening.
Do we need to state that in the?
I would state that tonight.
In addition?
In addition to,
I mean, most of these conditions, in fact, almost all of them are listed in the agenda now. There was 2 or 3 that were added from the Planning Commission.
okay, in addition to the recent things that were added in our agenda from the recent Planning Commission meeting.
The Planning Commission.
I second that.
Okay, great. And I do want to, just to answer your question, Pam, the Planning Commission was originally requesting the board that something was finished by 90 days, and was that the hauling?
The construction road.
The construction road.
90
So-
to 120 days.
Yeah, and so acknowledging the impact of weather,
Okay.
not the
That's
least.
why we asked for the progress report within
Yeah.
the 60 days.
So that's been accounted for in that 120 days, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
And, yeah. So we have a motion and,
I couldn't hear what the addition you asked.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, can you please come to the microphone?
Sure,
Thank you.
I'm happy to.
Thank you.
I don't know where I'm allowed to come and when. It's really hard in the back with the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Did I understand you added an additional
No, it's
piece
the-
to what was in the planning commission?
No, it's the same as the Planning Commission. It's the 90 to 120
I
days.
heard like an amendment and approval, so I was just not understanding. I wanted to make sure I heard
Yeah, sorry.
correctly, that it wasn't an addition, it was the same.
Yeah, I forgot to add that, so I just wanted to make sure yep.
Thanks, I appreciate that clarification.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Oh, yeah, great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Eric Can with Hall Baker Engineering, and I just wanted to clarify a few points in the project. The proposal we've submitted is for Curve Hill, and some of the complication is coming in is where the fill material may go when it leaves the Park Forest Middle School project. But I just want to clarify and say that this project that we have submitted, Hall Baker Engineering, is for the Curve Hill Road only. So I understand the second option of where that material goes. In my opinion, that is a separate item, and the items that we are agreeable, and we're agreeable to all of these options, but I just couldn't let go of the option 2 where it goes to a different project. That's not our current proposal.
So
You have your right to go after that, but that is not this proposal. So you could have this proposal could be greatly simplified if we just focus on option 1 and the second page of comments. That is for our project.
So because this was thrown at us at the 11th hour, we could certainly table this and nope, hauling starts, or we could do this tonight and address the Grace Point issue with this temporary use because it is all related to the fill from the school district site.
I just needed to get that on the record. I didn't want to let it go because I don't feel that that is part of this proposal.
That's fine. I mean, the board, if you want, we could certainly table action on this and discuss this again at August 19th.
I don't think it's appropriate to table it over this issue. I think it's...
I guess let me ask the question, because we're here, is, what you're saying is that the intent is that it will all go to Curve Hill?
That's our goal, is to be able to take it to Curve Hill. That's my proposal.
Okay, but we were made aware that there was a desire to use it at another site.
I was made aware after you were made aware.
Okay, understood. But I think the concern here is that, at the very least, if that is going to change midstream, that changes your permit. Because your permit is not then accepting all of the fill at Curve Hill, it's now going somewhere else.
So part of your condition is accepting all the fill?
That's what we were
We
told.
can take fill here, we could take fill to Shiloh, we could take fill to other places that accept, then have a current NPDS permit that is valid.
Eric, when we met with you in
Yeah.
May,
Yes.
and we met with you in April, we were told that this fill was all from the school district and it was going to Curve Hill Road, and that's why John Impt
It
came
is,
from Florida.
everything that would go to that site would be from the Park Forest Middle School project. What I'm trying to clarify is, if we're not able to take it here, we would have to take it to another site approved to take fill.
Yeah, and currently.
And I'm not saying the Grays, is it Graysdale or Grays Woods?
Grace Point is not permitted as a fill site right now, it's a construction site.
That is not this project, that's all I'm trying to say, is this project
you-
is a simple Curve Hill Road project. We're trying to get it established to be able to accept fill material from the Park Forest Middle School project. That is it. That is
Then
all
it-
we're trying to do.
Then I would say this, if we accept this for just Curve Hill Road, then Grace Point is off the table and cannot be used.
That's a different project. I can't
It's
see how
the-
you can't see that. That is a totally different project than this proposal.
Just a second. So help me understand, it would be a different project. So if we're talking about Park Forest, this is the project we're talking about, Park Forest Middle School, and then we're getting this over to Curve Hill Road. The hope is to have all of that debris there, correct?
All this, yes. This proposal is to be able to accept material from the Park Forest Middle School project.
Okay. And
And that's all we're permitted by condition, is that's the only fill that can be received at Curve Hill Road.
okay, and so there's no guarantee, though, that all the fill will be able to be there. It may need to go elsewhere.
It could go other places.
And so when,
And I'm not saying it's going to any Graysdale
okay.
project.
And so if that were to be the case, then a new submission would need to be had, but it's still connected with this
It's still connected
particular
with this project.
project.
I mean, I would say too, Eric, that the conditions we've put on, we have option 1, which is traveling Valley Vista, because you told us Monday night you didn't want
That's
to go
what we like to
Circleville.
do, correct, and
Yes,
that
so
was
that-
brought up at several meetings.
The only conditions that pertain to Grays Point are the ones that we added at the end on Monday. So the last couple of ones about the notification of all the residents out there, the NIPD's permit for Grays Point, notification to the partnership. We could take those 4 off that are related to Grays Point. The rest of them relate to Curve Hill Road and the restrictions on the hauling.
Anything related to Curve Hill Road, we have no contest.
But that means the fill can't go to Grays Point until someone comes back here and asks for permission to take it to Grays Point.
I don't disagree with that statement at all. I'm just saying it's not part of our proposal. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's fine. I just think that the concern here has been the timing of everything, and if that changes on your stream August 1st, we got to walk through a process again. And everybody's got to understand that. And, you know, when you start moving dirt, I know what you want to do. You want to keep moving dirt. You don't want to get delayed because you can't put it somewhere. And so I understand that.
Because then this would come back to us that we're holding
It'll
things
have to
up.
come, well,
Yes.
there's some things they have to do with their plan, but obviously we're going to have to get roads bonded and other sorts of things that have to happen because we're not putting trucks out delivering dirt through residential areas. I mean, we can do that, but we got to be compensated. And I understand your point. This is our application. But I think what you got to understand, Eric, is that you're here on behalf of the contractor. And the contractor is the one that's going to make that decision on where that fill goes, not the school district. It's not on them. And so I understand that. It's just deliver the message. Look, if they're already set up, if you want to go to Shiloh, I know the story about Shiloh. I know where it's sitting right now and what's happening on that site. But I understand you can go anywhere, but this is not a site in Grays Point.
I'm just using Shiloh as an example because I'm aware of it.
Right. I understood. Understood. I just think the concern staff had when they heard this, because I was in the meeting with you and Mr. Impt, was we were only ever talked about Curve Hill Road. And I recognize that you have the right to go to other sites, but that's when you start thinking about the volume that's coming out of that site and coming. That's when staff got concerned about exactly where that truck traffic is going, and rightfully so. So, speaking.
Those other conditions I just thought were outside of this scope of this project, so I just wanted to see if we could.
If the board is comfortable removing them, it's just, I think part of the permit condition has to be that this is just Curve Hill.
You can't go
Any
outside.
change by the contractor to look at another site is going to require a revisit here.
So do I rescind?
I would rescind, and let's take, Randy has a question.
Randy Rao, Finance and Operations Officer for the State College School District. I've heard two different things in this conversation that I'm not saying who said them, but I want to make sure that we're abundantly clear. If they want to stop using Curve Hill, they cannot go to Grays Point unless those conditions are included.
Unless they come back and get, yes.
Correct.
Approvals.
Based upon, if those conditions are removed from the action tonight, Hawbaker cannot go to Grays Point, they can only go to Curve Hill.
Correct.
However, can they go to other approved sites outside of the township?
We couldn't put a condition on it.
No, we can't. So if they want to go to Shiloh Road, for example, they can do that, right?
I just want to make sure that everybody in the room is clear, because some comments that I've heard have not necessarily been.
I think the reason people were saying Curve Hill only is that because that's what we were led to believe.
Yeah, that's what we
And so, but I understand that fill is fill, and you need to take it where you can get it, and that's fine, right?
Some of the misunderstanding with only that fill is we were also told that's the only fill that can go there.
Yes,
That's correct.
It's not a fill
It's
site.
kind of a misunderstanding, but that's what our understanding is.
So if the board wants to take the conditions related to Grays Point off, the rest of the conditions apply to Curve Hill Road. You can do that, but then we can make a condition, right, that it can't go anywhere other than Curve Hill or an approved fill site outside of the township. We don't have any approved fill sites in the township besides this one.
I'm certainly fine with that. With the rest of the board?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want
Yes,
to
so,
rescind and re-speak?
okay. Tell me the process right now.
Yeah, so we just withdraw the motion? Is
Yeah,
that
why don't you
right?
withdraw the motion?
Okay. I move to withdraw the motion.
Just say I
Oh,
withdraw
I
my
withdraw the motion.
Your seconder can consent, and then we can start over.
Okay. we
Okay, you're on.
approved- Yep, okay. So the new motion, just a second. The new motion would be to approve a temporary use permit for property on Curve Hill Road, subject to the conditions listed above, absent the new conditions that were established by the Planning Commission.
Yeah, I would just say the conditions, the conditions listed above for option 1, Valley Vista Drive, plus the general conditions that were added by the Planning Commission.
Okay. I move to approve the temporary use permit for property on Curve Hill Road, subject to the conditions for
Option 1.
option 1, as well as the conditions added by the Planning
General
Commission.
conditions.
General conditions added by the Planning Commission.
And the further requirement that if they're going to change, or that they will either use Curve Hill or a fill site outside the township. I think that should be on your list.
Yep.
That way, if Gray's point comes into play, they'll be back at your table.
Yep. Sounds good.
With the addition. Which addition there? What Betsy
Betsy
said.
Betsy said. You want to second that?
Second.
Okay. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. You got it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Senator Daly, don't quote me exactly on that motion. Thank you.
I don't think they have enough space in their paper to quote you.
No.
I just, on behalf of the board, I want to thank all the hard work that went into all that. I know it's complicated and difficult, and just would love to remind us all that the goal of the school project is to benefit the entire community. So I know construction is going to be rough for the neighborhoods and those all around it. We all dislike disruptions to our lives that involve traffic and trucks and all sorts of other things. But the goal is a real benefit for the children of our community. Right now, their school is just frankly not acceptable. And it's really important that we all work together, as you all have done, to make sure we get this project off the ground and those kids can have a safe, environmentally safe, sound, high-quality educational environment. So thanks for everybody's hard work on meeting all the municipal needs and regulations and such, but I hope we can all keep our focus on that. That's a goal to benefit your residents as well as the greater Skasdy residents. So thanks very much.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
And thanks for all your efforts. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Gosh, that, I would actually like to motion for,
Why don't we do Patton Crossing and then,
oh, sure. No, yes, sorry about that. I should have seen those daggers.
then you can take a break
in the
because
eyes.
they've been sitting through everything right now.
They have been, you should have said, oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to go on to D, which is Patton Crossing Revised Master Plan. I am so sorry that I didn't say. Please don't hold that against me. Okay.
Okay, I'll take this one. So Penn Terrace submitted a revised master plan to the Patton Crossing development. The original master plan received approval in December of 2019 and was recorded in January 2020. The project is comprised of 28.486 acres and it is located within our C2 planned commercial and MXD2 mixed-use overlay district. The plan is being updated just to represent the building, parking, and infrastructure changes that have been or are currently being revised and approved by the township. The updates consist of the 20,442 square foot Aldi grocery store that is built and in operation, a 2,525 square foot Cava restaurant with a pickup lane that is currently under construction, a 7,791 square foot bank building with a drive-through lane that's currently under review by township staff, a 3,500 square foot restaurant with drive-through lane that is currently under review by township staff. Cava received conditional approval for the drive-through lane from the township and review of the conditional use request for drive-through lanes associated with the proposed bank and the restaurant are currently under review by this township staff. You will see all of that next month in August. You'll look at those plans and the conditional uses, and we'll talk about that. The project notes, use tables, and parking calculations were updated to reflect the changes noted above. The remainder of the site is unchanged from what was originally planned for the master plan. So this is essentially just an update of the master plan to reflect what's done and what's being proposed out there. This is way less controversial than a fill site.
Yeah, okay. They had their controversial days. They've been through the gauntlet, so. Did you want to come up and make a presentation, anybody, on behalf of the community?
I'll make it great.
Okay.
Isn't Cava already starting to be up?
Cava's
I
under
think
construction,
I saw
yes.
Cava there. It looked nice.
And are we going to get to know the name of the other restaurant?
You will not know that until later.
A couple of weeks? I mean, next month?
It's a surprise.
It's called Sutan's Den.
Okay. We're all excited.
I won't tell you what we do there.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary use permit and special event request and noise waiver. Nope, wrong one.
No, I think
I make a motion to approve the plan subject, oh, I'm sorry,
it's
Patton Crossing.
What's the comment letter?
page 12.
page 12.
It's top of page 12.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, right there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, yep, I move to approve the plan subject to the township staff comment letter dated June 18th, 2026.
Yep. Okay, second to that?
Second.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, you've got it. Thank you for sitting through everything. Good to see all of you again. Okay, and now, we're going, oh, yes, let's take a quick break, is that right?
Yes, you want to take a recess?
Yeah, recess.
Quick recess?
A 5-minute
A
recess?
recess, yes, please, recess. So
We have to go get Ben.
We got a couple more. Okay, I would like to resume this Board of Supervisors meeting on July 8th. So where were we? We are now looking at the Hafner Farm Cafe temporary use special event permit.
So the Hafner Farm is requesting a temporary use special event permit to hold various events such as weddings and concerts from June 1st, 2026 through November 1st, 2026. If you're not aware, the Hafner Farm Cafe is the new owners of the former Farm Cafe, and it's located at 1000 Fillmore Road. The applicants have also requested a waiver from the noise requirements of Chapter 212. Specifically, they request exemption on the limits to the limits on amplified music. All events would conclude by 10 p.m. and since 2021 and under the former ownership, similar events were held and we have never received any noise complaints. Planning Commission did review this at their meeting on Monday and recommended approval.
Okay. So any questions from the board? And if not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'm going to try to do this better. I move to approve the temporary use permit and special event request and the noise waiver with the following conditions. Hafner Farm Cafe LLC shall notify the adjacent property owners of the waiver request.
We've got a motion, and do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Hafner has its request, whatever, special waiver. And we're going to also go to item F, which is adding data centers as a conditional use in the industrial zoning district.
So if you remember at our May meeting, you heard a presentation on data centers from our planner, Greg Garth. During that meeting, we discussed our intermunicipal zoning implementation agreement that we have with College Township. Under that agreement, which was adopted in 2005, not 2025, we share our industrial and multifamily zoning with College Township. College Township currently allows data centers in their industrial zoning district as a conditional use. In talking with Betsy, she's recommended that we enact an ordinance allowing data centers as a conditional use in our industrial zoning district. We would take the same language that College Township has, I spoke with their manager this morning, and mirror that for Patton Township, and that makes us compliant under that intermunicipal zoning agreement.
Okay. Question, and I think we discussed it.
I'm sorry if I'm being stupid about this, but does Patton Township have any industrial area then?
Yes, you're sitting in our industrial zoning district.
Okay, that's it?
We have a very small industrial zoning district.
Not in the airport area, that's not industrial or anything?
No, that's a mixed use.
Just this one area right here?
Yeah, so that's why we have this agreement, because we don't have enough space for industrial land in Patton Township.
What about the road past Otto's? Isn't that also industrial?
The road past?
If you go past Otto's on
here
your
over to
right,
Otto's is industrial.
That's also the industrial.
This little area.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there really isn't enough space to put a data center of significance.
So we're allowing it. So that was going to be so we're allowing it in our verbiage, but we de facto really do not have any space in our industrial area.
And that's what happened. That's how we got so many multifamily housing units, all the apartment complexes out on Tofttrees Avenue and other places, because College Township didn't have the space for multifamily housing complexes in their community.
Thanks. So before we vote on this, I want to make a note that I've read several articles from several different sources that are looking at data centers and thinking this may be the issue that the November election turns on. As we all know, it is an issue that many people have at the tip of their tongues. And next door Park Forest had a great discussion about it in terms of Patton Township. The one thing that we can say as supervisors of this township, we can safely say, yes, we do allow it in our, or we've just passed, now we allow it in our description of that zoning, industrial zoning area, but we cannot practically have a data center in this township. So on the one hand, I think it kind of gets us out of the hot water in terms of talking to anybody, but I don't think that we should be smug in, at least individually or in talking about this issue with other people. We need data centers. It's not in the purview of this township, but I don't want anybody to think that just because we can't have it in the township that the issue is going to go away. So I just wanted to add that.
Completely impossible, not to be devil's advocate, but I'm just asking.
We don't have
Because small.
There's no space.
They have different size ones.
Yeah, we don't.
But if it was small, it wouldn't have the same impact, is what I'm just gonna get to anyway.
And also, by doing it as a conditional use, if we did get a small one that could come in here, you can put the conditions on it to deal with the use itself.
Right, so that's the part of the answer too.
Yeah.
It's conceivable that, but it would have to be very small, and we could have conditions.
And the other thing I would say is that Penn State in their extension office has some experts on data centers. I was actually at a meeting in CBICC, and this person spoke and gave a great overview. There are many different sizes of data centers. Data centers have also been around for a long time. They're just having their moment in the sun right now. The state is actually looking at laws that would give municipalities time to hit pause for 180 days to address changes in their ordinance, some other things. So there's a lot of things going on around data centers right now. It's getting a lot of press, but sitting through that presentation, which was excellent, I learned so much that I did not know. And the other thing is data centers need a lot of power and they need a lot of water, and we don't necessarily have the best power grid in the center region right now.
Yeah, and the state's also considering other laws to require environmental, meeting certain environmental conditions. Right now, it's optional. And if a data center meets a certain environmental condition, it can then be eligible for reductions or lowering of tax rates and so on. So, but there are some people interested in making it a requirement. It's very much in discussion in Harrisburg and certainly around the country. Okay, so with that said, I think we have the motion.
We don't have a motion.
No, we don't have the motion. Let's get a motion.
I'm not making a motion for this.
Okay.
Come back in 20 years, so Sue told me this motion.
So I think it's at the bottom of page 12.
It's to prepare the ordinance for review by our Planning Commission and CRPC.
What she just said. Somebody want to make that motion?
I will move to have staff prepare ordinance for review by Township Planning Commission and the Center County Regional Planning Commission and possible public hearing and adoption at the August 19, 2026 meeting.
Okay, thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
All righty. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I saw, did you want to make a comment? You look so expectant.
Watching
Okay,
me.
we said aye, and are there any nays? Okay. Then please go ahead with your preparations, staff. And then, oops, it looks like I missed something. Added data centers. Oh, that's it. I was just trying to avoid the SIGSI. Oh, wait, we have somebody here for SIGSI.
Ben's here.
Just kidding. Okay. Okay, so who wants to take that?
So how about, I'll just start briefly with ground rules and then I'll let Ben jump in. So my ground rules, because it is 7:15 and the hour is getting long, is that I went through our comments that we got from everybody, which I provided to you, and I highlighted the 12 items that we do not have consensus on. The other items all say support, support, support. So if you're okay with we submit the ones that say support as our consensus comment being we support it, then we can just focus on the 12 items that do not have consensus rather than going one by one. Heidi.
I just want to say the other thing, and Larry's good to speak to this, and Ben's probably good to speak to it, and I can't do it very well, but it was explained to me, this is just the beginning of the process, painful as it might be, because it still then has to go through the financial committee, and then there's still more approval processes, so that's just something to point out as well, right?
Yeah. This is the wish list, but it does not, just like your Christmas list that your kids give you to mail to Santa, it does not mean that they're going to get the pony for Christmas because they put it on the list. This list, if it gets through, the SIGSI gets through as it is, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll see all these items in the budget. Because once we put it all into one pot, sometimes we can't afford some of those things. I saw some of your comments, put it to next year, that, more of that will come during the workshops, during the budget workshops.
And sometimes kids get nothing.
Well, I don't know how that's going to work if that happens with the car.
Ben's like, we're not kids, we're adults.
Ben's like, please no.
I don't know, I like the idea of you as Santa, Larry.
Yeah.
That's
just
a
like
great,
This is their Santa.
yeah, we'll just start calling you
Doesn't mean they get everything.
Santa Larry.
Santa
Okay.
hat.
Ready. So, yeah, and you just describe to me how to go ahead doing that.
So why don't we let Ben
Yeah,
talk?
perfect.
And then we
Okay.
can jump in.
And Ben knows which ones that we've highlighted?
Ben has the comment guide, but I can direct when we get to the different comments.
Okay.
I thought these comments were anonymous.
All right, I will try to keep this shorter than everything that I have written, but part of the points that I have here to make is this is not the budget. It's the first step in the budget process. Think of this as our opportunity to show you where we believe the organization is headed, what challenges we are seeing, and what investments each agency believes may be needed over the next several years. We deliberately bring this to you months before the budget so that you have time to ask questions, offer suggestions, and help shape our priorities before numbers are finalized for this. So this document is also different from what COG has traditionally produced, and give about one more year once things have transitioned and I won't have to make this speech anymore. But this takes the place of what used to be the program plan and the capital improvement plan. We've combined everything into one strategic document. So each agency now explains what they do, why they do it, how they're measuring success, what trends they're seeing, what investments they're proposing, and where they believe they're headed over the next 5 years. Goal is greater transparency and to provide context before asking for funding on all of this. There are 3 themes that I noticed going through all of this. First, we're placing much greater emphasis on taking care of the assets you've already invested in. Across COG, we're trying to be more disciplined about life cycle planning, preventative maintenance, fleet management, facility upkeep. Deferred maintenance almost always becomes more expensive later on. Number 2, our people remain our greatest asset. Ever since every service we provide depends on attracting and retaining talented employees. That means not only competitive compensation, but also investing in technology and systems that allow staff to spend more time actually serving the public and less time pushing paper. And then third, we're trying to become more data-driven. So you'll notice that agencies are including more performance measures, trend analysis, benchmarking, and long-term planning than in previous years. Better information leads to better decisions. And finally, I want to stress that this is your document as much as ours. If something doesn't make sense, if you think we're missing an issue, if you believe we've placed emphasis in the wrong area, now is exactly the time to tell us. We'd much rather have those conversations today than during the budget adoption phase. So tonight is not about defending every recommendation. It's about listening just as much as presenting.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, are we ready to jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I could add one more thing,
Absolutely.
just to help, as I've already answered questions in 2 other municipalities. Some people take notice of the fact that the agency rankings for items sometimes differ from the COG rankings for items. Agencies might have things as 1, 2, 3, and then you'll see them as 3, 1, 2 in the COG rankings. The COG ranking is me. I let the agency directors rank their own requests, and then I take the entire group and rank them as I think they best serve the COG. My opinion sometimes differs from that of the agency directors and what best serves the overall cause. So sometimes something will be higher ranked in the COG rankings than it is in the agency ranking. That's my opinion.
Oh, that was helpful. I wasn't aware
And
of that.
being a newbie, I do appreciate you having both in there.
Yeah.
It helped me.
Yeah, it's 2 different perspectives. I look COG-wide at total service, whereas each agency is looking at what they do.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so our first item to discuss Should municipalities fund the request for a full-time parks specialist janitorial position, given the documented service gaps and projected budget impacts? Our comments from Susan: going 468 hours to 1,750 hours seems like a big jump. Is there that amount of work? From Heidi: this represents almost a 2.7 times increase in janitorial hours and represents ongoing significant yearly cost. Was a part-time seasonal position considered? From Sutan: support as written, no additional feedback. And from myself: I would rather see this money used to hire a park specialist for our parks. According to the chart in the SIGSI, maintenance hours in the municipalities are down while maintenance hours in regional parks are up. COG needs to prioritize finding a regional parks manager who can monetize these parks and pay for them out of a different pool. The evaluation of the maintenance division staffing level should be top priority in 2027. This can't wait until 2028. That's sort of a comment around a bunch of other issues. But so what would we like to say on this item?
First, I just want to say it's a little bit of a typo I made. So what I was saying is part-time or seasonal.
Oh, or, okay.
But that's not what I meant. And then, can I just ask you, Amy, to expound a little bit more of what that means in that paragraph?
Oh, yeah,
This must be history and everything.
Yeah, so the issue that we're having, and we've talked about this at the manager level, and the Parks Governance Committee's talked about this, is we need to find a better way to kind of how we do the maintenance of our parks. Because right now, the COG does maintenance of our parks across the region. We pay by the COG formula. What we're finding is COG is having trouble, as everybody is, having trouble getting staff for their maintenance division of the parks. And then when I looked at the SIGSI, if you see the chart, there's more hours going to regional parks because they're online now. Whitehall Road is online now, it wasn't on before. So that's causing a big issue for the municipal parks, because municipal parks and regional parks, they're using the same people to maintain them. So we had a conversation about this morning at our manager's breakfast. I think we need to move toward a different model for maintenance in some way, and I think the regional parks, which is something that back in 2010, when these were first conceived, this was brought up by Mr. Fontaine from the borough. We need to find someone who can come in, monetize those parks so that you can go in and sell every square inch of them to sponsors and, figure out different ways to charge fees for people that are coming in for tournaments, and then use that to fund a different way to take care of those parks. And you have a separate set of people or landscape companies or something that does the maintenance out there and takes some of that burden off of the staff that's doing our municipal parks. Because we are very blessed with a robust park system in the center region. And we have wonderful parks and we want to keep that up, but we need to get creative in how we're doing these things. And frankly, with the regional parks back in 2010, we always talked about the capital, but we never talked about the operational side. And that's coming home to roost now, and that's going to have to be addressed.
Is that something that has been talked about on your side?
Yes, and there are, a couple points we've discussed for this. Whitehall is the first time that with the regional parks, a full-time employee was proposed to go along with that park when it was brought on. But we were already in a deficit from bringing the other parks online, as well as all of the other municipal parks that have come online in the meantime. We have not added full-time staff to do that. Everything was being made up with the seasonal staff that got brought on. Worked well for a number of years. We can no longer get that seasonal staff anymore. We do not have those. We were typically getting retirees who were coming out for long stretches through the spring and summer to work for us, and we aren't getting them anymore. And we have probably more than half of our seasonal positions sit open in that department now. So that's one challenge. Looking at this position, they're not going to spend 2,080 hours a year cleaning bathrooms. Like, we fully expect that they're also going to be doing maintenance in the parks as well. But I would also add that Parks is also perfectly willing to look at a part-time position for this, but I don't do the full proposal. It's easier to scale it back than to scale it up later on. We are also looking at other options. Most everybody has heard us talk about the autonomous mowers at some point to help alleviate some of the need for those seasonal workers. If we can start to build up a fleet of the autonomous mowers that we can move into some of the larger parks especially, then we can have machines doing the things that humans don't do. We're trying to be very careful here. We do not wish to replace humans with machines. This is a case where we cannot get the humans to do the jobs, and so we're now turning to the machine alternatives to look for that. The technology, as far as we're concerned, is mostly coming on board this year that we would be willing to move with. They have smaller commercial machines. They are not going to be adequate for our size of parks. The size machines that we would look at are starting to come on board this year. So we will look towards the future for that, but it's not the solution today.
Right.
So there are other things that we are looking at as well, but certainly the managers have a lot of conversations ahead of them to come to a regional thing to then bring to their elected officials on how everybody agrees we should move forward. CRPR and COG in general will be there in those discussions. It doesn't matter as much to us how we are funded, what the methodology is behind it, as long as we are funding the services that you are requesting of us.
So what comment would you like to send back to the COG?
Can I ask a question to Amy, Ben? Have we talked with Susan Wheeler?
Susan Wheeler and I have been very involved in these discussions.
That's what I needed to hear.
We had a very long discussion in the parking lot this afternoon, actually, about our meeting this morning. So yes, she's very involved. And the RAC is also going to be discussing this. They've looked at it. There's a draft maintenance agreement going around. They've looked at 2 iterations of that. They're going to look at it again at their meeting in July. So yes, we've all been looped in.
Thank you, because she is the expert.
Yep.
And I use that term with great respect, knowing Susan Wheeler's expertise and the love that she has for these parks. So thank you on that.
So do you want to sum up?
Yeah, I would be fine with Amy's comment. As I'm aware that this type of position has been floated for the past few years now, and it hasn't necessarily been funded, and the difficulty in having seasonal workers sort of like fill this gap. So the work is there. I would be fine with a part-time position just to see how that works out, in addition to what Amy, so I would say Amy's comment plus support for considering a part-time position in the interim.
Well, in the short, I mean, it seems like that they're sort of 2 different groups. I mean, Susan and I have a very similar comment. And then yours is much more of a major focus on monetizing, which sounds like a really good idea. It's short, at first, you're gonna have to pay up front for people, and then it's gonna take time, which may be, you know, a little bit of years to get to where there's a substantial revenue source from it. But it certainly seems like a good idea, and it sounds like it's pretty uniform. The managers in general believe in that, and that message sounds like it should strongly get to COG. So it seems like it's good, however it's appropriate to communicate that.
So why don't we say that we support this position? Do you support part-time or you support full-time for this position?
I'm hesitant to make it full-time just because of the long-term financial commitment when we have so many demands on the finances.
If the position is 1,750 hours, that's not full-time anyways.
Yeah.
Well, they express it as full, well, no, I think that's a differential thing because they already have a contractor doing the work right now.
Yes.
And they want to have someone in-house. So the amount of money they were spending, they're subtracting out the differential between the 2. Pretty sure that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And the same goes for when you see the estimated ongoing annual net impact, that is the difference between a full-time employee and what we are already spending on that.
I understand that.
Not everybody has so far.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, those shopping out that work, the prices are being jacked up anyway, year over year. So, I mean, I would say like a part-time position, I would be fine with.
So why don't you say, we say back that we support a part-time position, and then if you want to include, and you don't have to, but if you want to include any of my comments, maybe you could say If you want to include the regional parks manager, that's fine, or you could just say, the evaluation of the maintenance division staffing levels should be a top priority in 2027. This can't wait until 2028. I'm open to anything at this point.
Well, I think you have a very important message to communicate, so I don't know how you want to communicate it. But it seems like it's a long-term focus to try to monetize the bigger parks, which makes sense to me. The people that, you know, like I say, sponsorship, maybe fees, I was thinking about that too.
Yep.
Particularly when you think about swimming pools, to some extent, there's fees associated with them. So I think all that should be considered, and that's what I think you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
So whether it's appropriate to put it in the SIGSI or not, I don't know, because I'm a newbie.
Yeah, so it seems like I think what you're wanting is what we all want, and I think it's communicated in those last two sentences that Amy has shared, because it seems like they're having conversations already about what that actually entails. Like the regional parks manager who can monetize the parks, it seems like they already have a plan for what that monetization might look like, so it may not need to be spelled out exactly.
The very early conversations.
Very early.
Look like, but discussions have been started on those and will be ongoing. But I said it this morning, part of what we need is, we're just now bringing the parks maintenance software online so that we can actually start tracking in a clean form how much time we are spending everywhere. All the data that you're seeing in here are employees filling in paper forms, dropping them off to Aaliyah in the office, and then Aaliyah enters them into a spreadsheet. It's a terrible system right now. There is now parks maintenance software built for this purpose that we are onboarding right now. And every employee will have a device to use to enter where they're at, what they're doing, so we can break down by task what everybody does. That way, in a year's time, hopefully, we will have data to say, this is how much time we spend weeding in Patton, this is how much time we spend on the large mowers in Patton Township, this is how much time we use with push mowers in Patton Township, so that we can break down true costs of every park in the region, what it takes.
So we have support as a part-time position. Do you want me to just add the last two sentences about evaluation of the maintenance division should be a top priority in 2027, and this shouldn't wait till 2028?
Don't we still want to put something in it about the...
We can put that in if you want. I'm good with leaving it out if you want to.
I'm trying to see where the words are that because you explain it to me in words that maybe, oh no, you have it, prioritize finding that, maybe not finding it, maybe you say some opportunities to monetize the parks and pay for them a different, somehow get that in there.
Okay. And what I'll do, I should add, is once we have our consensus comments tonight, I'll put them together and send them out to you before I send them to the COG. So we make sure we're all on the same page.
One down, how many to go? How many
Larry,
10?
11.
Larry.
11 to go.
Can you let me in?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I just did so I can see the screen, that's all.
Okay. All right, so we're good on this
So
one?
I can see here. Thanks, Larry. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Next
being late.
comment. Uh-oh.
That's me.
Okay.
Twerk, 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 twerk.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Should municipalities fund the request to upgrade CRPR's recreation management software to the Vermont Systems RecTrack platform, given the operational limitations of the current system? Susan said support as written. Heidi said support, but would like to see an estimate of staff labor savings. Sutan says support as written, and I said, didn't we just buy this software?
No, we
Okay,
didn't.
I wasn't.
So we evaluated Vermont Systems last year.
Okay.
And we pulled that recommendation because we had not yet heard back from other parks groups who were utilizing the system in the real world yet. And so we did not want to move forward with something when we had not yet heard those stories. In the last year, we have certainly heard back from a number, and they are now comfortable with moving forward with that new software system.
Does this software, the one that would help, like with those people that stood up about they can't get scheduled for the soccer fields? That's what I was thinking this was
Yes,
for.
that would certainly help with
this.
that. We've also changed that process in the meantime, just with our forms. And so that is already improved since then. But yes, this software would absolutely help with that.
And if I can just say, when I'm saying, I don't need people to spend time on this. It's just that they make a comment that they're going to save staff hours. I'd just like to get a ballpark. What does that mean, and then what happens? You know, because people can use that loosely.
And so
And I wanna
for a
take
lot of
thoughtful.
this, a lot of the things that people need to pay for, right now, a lot of them have to come into the office to make payments for those things, and that takes the staff's time as well at the desk to do that. Versus a newer system that allows for more online payments to be processed, and allows for easier reservations. Rather than it being, I'm calling in or I'm stopping into the office for everything, we're making more online options available through this software system to do that. Also, just like I described with the maintenance software issue, for a lot of things that we do, there is a paper process that then gets handed to that front desk staff to be typed into a spreadsheet or something. These systems will allow for easier tracking directly in those systems so that we're not double touching all of the data.
And is this cost a yearly cost, or is this, you buy it and then you're done? Almost everything now you have to pay every year or something.
It's up there on the screen here if you want to see it.
I've got them right in front of me, just have to turn to the right page. So the estimated annual impact would be $13,060.
Okay, it's just a one-time additional.
Yeah, so the net impact for this, for 2027 is $22,780, and then the ongoing impact is $13,060.
For how many years?
That is,
Usually 5 years?
I believe, a 5-year agreement,
Okay.
and then we'll get the new cost.
So
of
this
that time as we
additional
renew.
software compared to the other software you were talking about, is it?
These are two separate things. So Parks Maintenance is onboarded this year with their software system. This is for Parks and Recreation, so the reservation.
So that answers
athletics
Amy's
system.
question, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
are we good with this then?
Yeah, so I think you should say support, and then Heidi, do you want to leave in your comment about we would like to see an estimate of staff
I
labor
don't
savings?
want to.
Or we're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. That, you gave it good enough an answer. I don't want to waste staff's precious time.
Appreciate that, but if we can provide you with information,
Yeah.
don't
But-
hesitate
and
to ask.
I want you to push back when there's something stupid we ask for.
No, that's,
Ben is now going to push back on something stupid we asked for.
gentle about it.
Yeah, you don't have to say we're stupid, but you know.
Okay, next one. Should municipalities fund the replacement, I'm going to do this in like a TV host voice. Should municipalities fund the replacement of a truck 235 with a new Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD four-wheel drive crew cab, given the current vehicle's documented mechanical deterioration and agency operational need? Susan says she supports it given the agency support. Heidi says support, but would like a suitable used vehicle to be considered. Supervisor Magruder says support as written, although couldn't we wait a year, question mark? And I said support.
I'm going to be honest, you saying it in that way, I just want to say no to everything.
So if you need me to go to the call, I'll give you it that way.
One of the things that I like to point out with these, because we've heard, the used trucks and things are going to be pushed. This is a 14-year-old truck. We get a long life out of these things. I know, and we had this conversation at the last COG meeting where a lot of people were looking at the miles on these trucks. These should be weighed in hours, not in miles, because we are not traveling out on the highways at all. Everything is done here right within the center region, and this truck is almost always towing a trailer behind it. They take a beating, and even still, we're getting 14 years of good life out of a truck like this. We are getting more than your money's worth out of anything like this that we buy.
So I give one more year. Squeeze another year. Yeah, you don't have to have my comment in there.
Okay. So, and Heidi, do we want to have your comment about a suitable used vehicle?
Well, I don't know if there's a consensus on that. Honestly, I know Matt's the one that asked that question, but I had that question before. Anyway, only because it's usually a luxury to have a new vehicle. And, if you ever listen to the the different experts on this, you're always cost effective to get one that's, lightly used. That's the only reason I bring it up. And I said consider, I didn't say you had to get it.
Okay.
But it would obviously be cheaper if you could get a used one that was good.
If lightly used 2,500 trucks were more common, it would be easier to look at. This isn't the truck that you're going to see out in your parking lot. This is the truck that your public works crew is going to drive to plow snow in.
The specialty. And
These
they're
are the large cab.
And they're not likely to put on.
Oh, there's a lot of people that individually would like these trucks too.
They would like them, but we don't end up getting a lot of used vehicles
Okay, fair
like
enough.
this.
I mean, you can withdraw that if
Strike
you
that.
don't like that comment.
Okay.
Because I'm the only one that made it.
Okay. Next up. Should municipalities fund the request to purchase a portable vehicle and equipment lift for CRPR's fleet maintenance operations, given documented safety, efficiency, and operational agency need? No. Okay, so Susan said support as written. Heidi said support. Supervisor Magruder, I see the utility, though a prior SIGSI capital proposal was removed and a better unit was found during that time. Could waiting a year or so yield another system that is more functional? This is not a priority for me, and I said support.
So the issue last year was that the company spec'd the wrong lift for us, which is why it was so much cheaper than what this is. We are looking for one that can be moved around, because if anybody has been out to our maintenance building, we do not have much space at all out there. It is very tight. And so having a movable lift would be extremely helpful for the maneuverability within that tight workspace. The portable lifts are not that common, but we do not have the space to put in a permanent fixed lift in there. We would not be able to get the vehicles in and out of our facility.
And as part of the orientation, I actually saw that and talked to the guy that wants that lift.
So Sutan, how do you feel about your comment? Want to leave it in?
I mean, I still stand by it, but I'm not going to be the one to, the person personally. I ain't going to be the only one. You can exit.
Exit?
Yeah.
All right.
Happy to give you a tour as well if you want to come out and, and see the place.
I already said yes, Ben.
All right, we are jumping ahead to emergency management. Okay, so should municipalities fund the request for a tethered EMA drone system to enhance emergency response, situational awareness, and long-duration aerial monitoring capabilities? Susan supports as written. Heidi supports. Sutan says not in support of this expenditure. The number/types of incidents that may warrant its use seems limited. While helping to assess damage/incidents, there are available comparable systems available, even if it's not as readily available. I said I need more information on this, and I have a general comment, because I stick all my general comments under the first thing, and that is just that I would like to see the emergency management program include funds to hire a part-time public information officer in 2027, 2028, because, fun fact, I am currently the volunteer public information officer, and I really don't have enough time in my world for that. And I've been that since 2008, so I would love to see us pass it on to someone who has some time to devote to it.
So you're saying that to you is higher priority than buying this? Is that what you're putting in there?
That would be a higher priority to me, given what we went through with the storm in April, and we've identified some gaps in our emergency communications, and it would be amazing if we could find somebody who could come in part-time and have the time to devote to this. I do not have the time to devote to do this properly.
I would request a 1-year pause on that so that we can bring the new fire director
that's
on
true.
board and let them get situated before we look at staffing changes over there. But absolutely support that. And this is a time when we benefit from being third in the meeting schedule, because Ferguson Township has asked that we have a conversation with them about possibly transferring one of their tethered drones over to EMA rather than purchasing one.
This may go away.
Okay.
And
So
then you
you
need to
might
find
want to
another
comment that we should
volunteer.
talk to Ferguson Township.
So
Okay.
Sutan's comment stands.
So Sutan's comment stands. How about that?
And how about we consider other,
Did you turn on your?
hello?
Oh, he got it. We're
Yeah.
good.
And then consider other ones in the region,
Okay, I will add.
i.e. Ferguson.
Okay, and I won't make the comment about the PIO because that'll be on hold till next year. Okay, all right, got that. Okay. Next, under emergency management contingency budget, my comment was just that we should have more than $100,000 because $100,000 in contingency will not get us far in an emergency. And that's something that we've bandied about for a few years but have never done anything about, so.
Yep.
You okay with including that?
What number are we on?
That's.
Oh, I see it, I got it.
C36. Okay, so if you're okay with that, then our next one, code administration. Should municipalities support the request for a remote-controlled construction inspection crawler to improve inspector safety and enhance confined space inspection capabilities? Susan supports as written. Heidi supports. Sutan supports as written. I said, with a $3 million fund balance, you shouldn't be coming to the municipalities for any funding support. What is the plan to lower this fund balance? I might have been crabby.
They didn't ask for us to fund it, they're just asking for us to support.
Oh, that's true. I might have been crabby.
They already have
when
the
I read
money.
that.
But your point is well taken.
We can strike my comments.
I actually like the comments.
As we get farther into my time as COG director, we will dive deeper into these fund balances for code. The code fund balances are a much more complicated item because we are very future funded in that agency. As permits come on, they are paying for inspections that can take up to 3 years. A lot of what's happening, we are spending now money that we earned 1 to 3 years ago. And that is continually how we operate. So we always have this fund balance that is funding the next 3 years, potentially the next 3 years, depending on how fast these projects move. So you will always see that strong fund balance. One of the keys to me as I was evaluating this when I got here is that that fund balance has not been growing year over year, which means that our current costs to our current permit charges are covering the cost of our operation on a pretty steady basis. And so the question is, well, what happens if everybody wants us to just stop now? We have 3 years worth of potential work that we have to do. That's what that fund balance then carries forward to take care of. But seeing that we are not growing that fund balance in any great way there means that our permit costs are justified in covering our normal operation.
Okay.
But this one is a much more complicated one to evaluate for people.
So I will drop my comment and we'll just say support.
Thank you.
I'd keep it and put Amy's name next to it.
No, because then they'll think I'm from Harris Township. That's a Frank Harden comment. Okay, jumping forward, I didn't say that.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Yes.
Being on the Public Safety Committee, this was one issue that they were very adamant about, the safety, putting a person in a situation other than a drone or whatever. And I think through my report to this board is total support for this.
Yep. Yep, I got support.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, moving ahead to CCMPO operating budget. Should municipalities fund the request to purchase 6 mobile bicycle and pedestrian counters and associated software to support active transportation planning, given the lack of viable low-cost alternatives and the need for reliable count data to guide future facility development? Susan says this doesn't seem urgent to me. Heidi supports, Sutan supports, and I said needs more justification.
So I don't have a whole lot that I can say on this. I have a lot more research to do because Mr. Herndon from the borough gave us some alternatives he would like us to look at for this, and these are things that I just don't have enough knowledge on with bike counters. What I have learned is that there is no perfect system for counting bicyclists anywhere. there are going to be faults in the data somewhere. However, if we are going to be able to apply for grants at the state and federal level, we are going to have to show data in some way, shape, or form, which is why we are looking at some type of bike counter that everybody in that staff will acknowledge is not perfect, so that we have some data that we can use and back up when we make these applications.
Yeah, that's why I said support.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for it, and I look at how much money we spend on roads, and this does look like it's a justification to get funding, that's why.
I just needed that piece of the puzzle. I didn't know that before.
I've already heard so many arguments over which way to track this data, and every one of them has faults to it.
Okay, because each year we get awards for, the best cycling roads. So they have to have some kind of data, and you're saying that's imperfect.
You're getting the awards because of the efforts you have put in putting bike paths in throughout the entire region. For us to apply for the grants to help you pay for better bike infrastructure region-wide, now we're going to have the data to back up how many people are using this infrastructure that you have spent decades building.
So we can have more.
Yes, and improve it. We're probably looking at putting in one of the bike repair stalls in at the COG building, because we, just like many of our businesses in the region, are looking to be bike certified. We have been. We are the example, as we are the ones that certify people in the region. And then Ferguson Township put one in, which is just a couple blocks away from us. And we're like, is it now worth it for us to put it in here? How many bikers are coming past here that we are a better stop for them than Ferguson Township? Where do we actually need the rentable bikes in the region? We have them parked at COG on occasion, and every once in a while somebody comes by to use one, but where would be the best locations for those based on where people are riding? What are their starting spots, destinations? So those are the things we're trying to learn.
And that's where I say Susan Wheeler is perfect, because I took a tour thinking, we only had a few just coming on the board, a few parks. And she came with a notebook with 17 parks. We went to every park, every park. She showed me the bikes and where they were, what designation. I'm saying, please utilize what we have to get you the help to do this.
So I'm hearing support for this.
Maybe we could get some retirees to just sit out.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking.
A lawn chair.
Have little kids in their tricycles just.
Sit out there, we'll give them one. We'll give them
Yeah, and that's a very good point, is looking at options. We have said multiple times, like for the truck 235 replacement, and we had the 2,500 quoted in there. That doesn't mean that that's the exact truck that we end up with if it gets funded. We have to quote some product to get the numbers for the budget. So we're trying to find examples of the kinds of things that we are looking at. It'll be a year before we actually purchase anything. We don't know where the pricing is going to be exactly on, if Honda's going to offer us a special, then I'm going to take the special.
So we're supporting?
We're supporting. Okay, next one, COG building capital. Should municipalities fund the request for Phase 2 of the COG building HVAC replacement, covering the remaining 26-year-old units in the attic and first floor, given their age, rising replacement costs, and the risk of costly emergency failures if the project is deferred? Susan supports it, Heidi supports it, and Sutan says, still in fair condition and given current market, could we hold off for a year?
They are not in fair condition.
Sutan likes to hold everything off for a year.
I just had my 2 units of HVAC fail in over a 5-day period or something recently. And so I feel the pain personally.
Wait, maybe I wouldn't have said that for an HVAC.
You said that for the
system.
HVAC.
Maybe I was
You did.
confused on
Maybe
that.
you were cut and pasted and you just.
Yeah, it may have been like a cut and paste from something, I don't know.
All right, so we'll support
Yeah, I
that
support
one.
that. And going back up to the last one, the bicycle tracking, should you include some comments just in support of what Ben was saying? And that nothing's gonna be perfect.
Right.
And we just need to.
I didn't, you're turning your head that
sorry.
way. Tell me,
I was saying, for the previous item, should we just also include a narrative in support of like what Ben was saying, and that no system's going to be perfect, but we need to start tracking this to obtain more monies?
Sure.
Since the other municipalities are going to just see support when I have some rationale.
Okay.
so we're on the support for the HVAC?
Yes. Yes. Okay, next one is under refuse and recycling. We like refuse and recycling. Should municipalities support the request to expand the food waste drop-off program by adding 2 additional collection containers and covering increased operational and permitting costs, given the program's demonstrated success and sustainability benefits? Susan said, grant funding would be a better option here. Heidi said, seek details for how all the municipality's residents would benefit. Sutan said, support. I said, support. Please include parts of each municipality. I will add that they did a pilot program in Park Forest, and we just got an email. I just got an email last week or the week before from a resident of Park Forest asking for the food program to come back. So this was very popular in Patton Township.
What mine is probably ignorance, but I was concerned when I read it, it wasn't completely clear to me if this was just for the borough, or whether this was
No, it's
a wide.
This is not for the borough.
It's for everybody.
This is for everybody but the borough.
Yeah.
Because the borough already has it. That's
the
what
borough
I
already
thought it
does
was
it.
enhancing maybe the borough part. So I wasn't sure.
Nope.
That's where I come from.
And I'm pretty
But otherwise,
sure
I support it in
They already
principle.
have the data for it. It was done a couple summers ago, and the 2 places that they're going to put it are at Millbrook Marsh, is one place.
Yes.
So they've already decided where they're going to do it, I think, so. And
I
the
forget
other-
what the other location
Yeah.
was. It was discussed at the Lucy.
And then people bring their stuff to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Is that what they did in Park Forest, or what did they do?
They
in
did
Park
it, it
Forest?
was over here. It was at the compost facility,
Yeah, it was at Hawbaker's.
Hawbaker's compost facility. So the
That might
people,
be the other place.
we were gonna
That would not be a bad
pilot, we were
place
gonna
for-
pilot, like what the borough has, a
They did.
curbside program, food
Oh.
program in Park Forest, and then we couldn't do it because there's permitting issues through the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, and there's also too many miles. It's a cost of gas.
Well, no, it was the
Oh.
permitting issues through the state with that.
So there are actually a combination of issues now
Yeah.
for it. That was the original issue. In further evaluation, they did discuss for the number of expected participants, we would be driving an exceptional number of miles to pick up based off the waste that we are getting. So we need to show better support through these kinds of pickups before we can really consider anything like that viable.
Is there one proposed for out here?
Oh, yeah, it is near Otto's.
Oh,
So
good.
It's the one at Hawbaker.
Oh, good, so there's one out here.
Yeah.
So we support this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's in Patton Township.
Yes. Okay. We have 2 left. Look at us, we're just trailblazing ahead. Okay. Parks and Recreation Aquatics Capital Budget. Should municipalities fund the request to replace the 2 aging 100-gallon commercial water heaters at Park Forest Pool, given that the units have exceeded their expected service life and pose increasing risks of failure, inefficiency, and operational disruption? Susan said, do the units show actual signs of failure? Heidi supports. Sutan, I would delay this expenditure as this has been presented as a proactive proposal. While past their service life, there was nothing noted that they are currently damaged or requiring a significant maintenance at this time.
So if I could make a recommendation, this would be one to evaluate again at the end of the season, because that is when we have a better idea of what their condition will be entering next year. Entering this year, they were fine to operate. However, we are also responsible for saying, look, if we start to see signs of failure, we need to at least put the proposals forward, which is what is done. That doesn't mean that by the end of the season, they're going to be in shape that we need to replace them, but we will know much better at the end of this season whether or not we should push this forward. And you would hear from the staff during the budget meetings.
I have a general question about funding, if I could ask. For the pools, is the general principle been that the membership fees and whatever usage fees you have pay for the operation but not the infrastructure? Is that right?
I mean, they pay for a part of the operation.
Just a part?
Yes.
So how,
There was
maybe this is too big of a question, but I'm wondering then how the fees are set, because maybe they need to be increased.
Last year, we had to convince the authority to not decrease the price of these. So we don't set the prices. The Parks Authority sets the prices for those. This is one of the governance splits.
Yeah, and we have representatives in the...
Yes. And last year, they did wish to decrease the parks, or the pool fees. I asked them to not to do that, and they maintained them where they were. We are on par with similar pools in the region and similar pools in systems that are of comparable size to ours. We have been very fortunate that from the kind of 2015 to 2020 period, we actually had some fairly profitable pools, which is an oddity. It's an absolute oddity. It is extremely rare that any pool does not require taxpayer dollars to stay in operation. In Western Pennsylvania, we knew the number was almost always $150,000. Whether you had a pool like mine in Dormont, which was this massive 1.4 million gallon monstrosity, I needed $150,000 a year of taxpayer money to keep it running. That was what I refer to as the Costco model of swimming pools. Cheap price, bring everybody that you can to get them in there. Mount Lebanon next door only had their residents coming in a much smaller pool. They had to put in $150,000 to it. Green Tree, which had a fob system, so like not only was it restricted to their residents, but their residents, for the most part, were restricted on bringing guests in with them, even at a cost. $150,000 was their annual spend from the taxpayer dollars. You hit this kind of economic mark where if you want people to come and be able to enjoy it, then taxpayers are putting money into it. Where I came to over the years of watching pools is that this is not just a pure recreational kind of item. It is absolutely a social item, especially for our youth, but it is also a public health
Safety, yeah.
Issue. We still have many homes that do not have air conditioning in them throughout this region. Very much so was the case in Western Pennsylvania. And on these hot days, those pools are where people go to cool down for the day. So they come home from work, get changed, they run to that pool, and they cool down in the evening, and then go back home. I watched that over the years. As I changed my mindset, I was not thrilled with paying $150,000. The amount of water that I was putting into that pool on a regular basis was astounding, but I started to learn much more about them, and so just from my personal point of view, they are certainly worth the investment.
Well, I thought it interesting that the Welsh pool, I think, has double the number of people that Park Forest has. Just on a high.
It's more centralized.
Yeah, it makes some sense, but anyway, okay, it's just a question.
So do you want to say support evaluating at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah. And maybe, Ben, you need to, y'all didn't have algae problems in Dormont, did you?
We did have a groundhog issue with a groundhog that liked to continue to swim in the pool.
We got one of those too over here. It likes to eat our EV.
And
well, maybe they need to
clear the pool.
Which pool?
Dormont pool. No, this was in Dormont.
Oh, Dormont, okay.
Sunday one.
The issue is that the pool has so much water in it that there's almost nothing you can do to actually cause contamination to it. But just for the public's view, we still have to close the pool and let it just run for a little while before you let people back in so that they feel better. But we tested it numerous times,
After the groundhog, you mean?
I mean, for anything, any type of contamination, the pools are awful and you get soiled diapers and things like that. in the pools.
I lost a diaper in the pool. No, I'm
It's
just
a part of
kidding.
pool operation that nobody likes to talk about. You have to let the pools run for a bit for the chemicals to continue to treat that. They don't show up in tests in Dormont's pool.
Yeah.
There's too much water in there for it to show up.
I have a question about the heaters. Why is there, pools aren't heated, right?
No, but the showers
Oh,
are.
of course. Never mind. It's been a while since I've been in a pool.
They need more heated pools.
Okay, we are on to our final item. Okay. Should municipalities fund the request to resurface the aging and deteriorating Welsh Pool splash pad with aqua tile safety surfacing given the documented cracking, maintenance needs, safety concerns, and long-term benefits of modern aquatic surfacing systems? Susan supports. Heidi says a candidate for deferring. Sutan says lower in rankings. I would delay. What say you?
I would delay.
Delay?
I just wanted to say no, but
Why don't we just use Heidi's comment, candidate for deferring?
yes.
It's concise. Okay. That's all the things that we did not have consensus on. Oh, wait, I missed one. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm
Yeah, the
sorry.
next one. There's another candidate for delay.
Yeah, the other aquatics one. Should municipalities fund the request to replace deteriorating wooden picnic table slats at Welsh Pool with durable recycled plastic slat kits, given the ongoing maintenance needs, safety upgrades, and long-term life cycle benefits of upgraded materials? Susan supports, Heidi considers deferring, and Sutan supports.
COG has it as 27 ranking. I know it's not that much money, but anyway.
What do you want to say?
What I want to say is whatever turf y'all have there, grass turf, that crap gets hot. So I don't know what needs to happen, but I'm just saying.
How to make the grass less hot?
Yeah, whatever the turf.
Okay, what do we want to
synthetic
say
turf
about the
or-
picnic table slats?
I'll support it.
Support? So we want to say support?
I would defer.
I'm not going to fight it a lot because it's not a huge amount of money and it's not an ongoing cost. It's a one-time cost.
Yeah. I mean, this is an effort to get them to start to match again because, you know, we've been replacing wood pieces for
Yes.
years now.
And it's
over
been
there.
on the table for years. Yeah.
Okay, so support. Okay, that's it. That's all the ones we had to discuss.
And could we potentially consider putting a blind in the window?
Yes, we will get Ron to look at that.
Or move me?
We're usually not here at
That's true. This is a long one. Okay.
But aren't we a good cooperative? Rules that have.
At dusk.
Are we done on the 6E then?
They'd still be moving them
Okay, do we
trucks.
need to adjourn? I motion to adjourn.
No, we're not done yet. We still have two more
Ben
things
can
to
go home.
Heidi.
Heidi.
Oh, that's got me a management report and everything else.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Taking all of Amy's thunder.
I'm so sorry.
We have to do the consent agenda
Now
first.
I'm in the doghouse. That's why I'm sitting here. Oh, gosh.
Move down.
Thank you all for all the way. Well, I don't think.
Only thing, again, just appreciative of,
Here's what I can do.
Move down.
I'll just do this. Now it's gone.
again, just
Move down.
okay,
Okay.
just appreciative of Ben's leadership in the,
What was that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought it was still.
okay, yeah, I'm just appreciative of Ben's leadership in this process. Has been very smooth since he's sort of like come on board, smooth and relational and all that stuff, so, yeah,
My experience has been very favorable as well.
a lot better.
And thank you to my colleagues for putting in the time on the 6E. I did not crack the book, I apologize.
What?
I really.
Can you speak a little louder? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I just wanted, because I was a little embarrassed. Thank you for all the time that you put in on the 6E, because I did not crack the book, and I apologize.
Sorry, you've got a lot going on your plate.
That's all right.
Also, Heidi, just move the desk back, like level.
You don't have to
can do
move
that.
yourself back.
Yeah, you don't have to move yourself.
I know
Yeah, just straighten that out.
Oh, you're so clever.
Now we got it.
Stupid. Good, we're good. That's very good, thank you.
We'll get a blind for
Actually,
next
Why did I
time.
think of
Item
that?
8, which is the consent agenda.
Yep.
Can I have a motion to accept all the items that are on the?
I'll move, so move.
Second.
For approval of the consent
All those in favor,
agenda.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got those approved. Managers reports.
All right, I'll keep this short and sweet, given the lateness of the hour and the fact we're soon going to see the midnight guys coming in for work, which Tyler and I wondered if that would happen today. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, we have applied for a grant from DCNR to do research to support the frosted elfin population. The frosted elfin is a very rare butterfly. We are one of only 2 places in Pennsylvania that has habitat for the frosted elfin. They live on the yellow indigo plants on the Hall property. So we're gonna put in a proposal from the Western PA Conservancy to do some research, and we wrote a letter of support for that. It's very exciting. I never thought I would get excited about a butterfly, but here we are.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, okay, the other thing I want to discuss, the state of Pennsylvania has a bill before the Senate, it passed the House, which deals with accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, as we all know them. Accessory dwelling units, the state would like to allow in residential zoning districts and basically supersede your zoning. They have stated that because State College, and I believe Westchester, went and said, these will all be short-term rentals, they will not help with affordable housing, so we do have the right to ban them as short-term rentals. And talking with the Municipal League, they think this bill is going to move once the budget is done and they come back in the fall. Once it's enacted, there's 60 days for it to take effect, so we would have 60 days to jump on banning these. Nicole has been working with Deckert software to find all of our short-term rentals. We have found a ton of illegal accessory dwelling units in the township that people have created to turn into short-term rentals. So what I would like to propose that we do is we craft accessory dwelling unit regulations that mirrors the language that's in the state bill right now, because they have things related to setbacks and other things, but that bans them from being short-term rentals, and that we actually try to get ahead of the bill a little bit using the language from the bill. But that puts this out there so that then as we're talking to these folks, we can explain that you can still keep your ADU once it's allowed, but it has to be a long-term rental. The borough allows them if you rent them for more than, you have to rent them 8 months out of the year. So they could be a long-term rental or an owner-occupied to help with affordable housing, but they can no longer be a football or short-term rental. So if you're okay with that, we can go ahead with start crafting language and talk to the Planning Commission first and before we bring it up to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
I
going to be
think
a
that's
lot of
great.
people
Good
up in
idea.
arms about that.
We've gotten a lot of calls. We had a bunch of letters that were sent out. They found 300 over 300 short-term rentals in the township, and we've been sending out letters. And there are people that just had no idea that putting a kitchen facility in your basement and calling it a separate unit makes it an illegal accessory dwelling unit, which is exactly what it does. So Nicole's been doing a great job talking with these folks.
Yeah.
We do have some folks, though, that we've reached out to. The code office has been reaching out to them as well, and some of them, frankly, are not responding, and then they are racking up pretty hefty fines with the code office, not with us, but with the code office, because we're trying to get these things under compliance. So you will be seeing in August our recommendations on what we think we should do as the next phase of short-term rentals. There are some very real issues with short-term rentals in the township. They're causing neighborhood concerns, there's parking issues, there's other things. So you'll see that next month.
And remember, we had that guy that made the speech, I can't remember when that was, in Park Forest. and
Yes. Yeah,
it
there's
seemed
a
like it was really, really affecting the neighborhood
Oh,
adversely.
There's a section of Park Forest, that one street in particular, that has been pretty hard hit by short-term rentals. So we're going to look at what some of our colleagues have done across the region for these and make some recommendations for you guys to consider.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, I know we don't want to talk about it now, but for people that have already bought them as an investment, how that gets rolled back. Is that,
That's a conversation we have to have with Betsy.
okay,
Or set it up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Added one.
Amy, once we get that up and running and you do your research, can we start just re-educating those residents
Yes.
to keep reiterating, this is what's coming?
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
These are the fines coming from code. You know, just keep reiterating, because If we put it out there once, it's just gonna fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and some of the people that have contacted us have said, oh, we had no idea, when did you publicize it? And we've pulled out, we did it in this month, social media, newsletter, whatever. We'll continue to re-educate folks, because we do have a lot of property that changes hands as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
From Ms. Manager. And committee reports, does anybody have a committee report that they want to talk about?
Oh, can I ask?
Oh, Heidi, yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
In this thing about Marywood, I was kind of curious, I didn't want to really ask it before because I knew this meeting was going to be so long, but I was wondering how, this is number 5 in your report about having a meeting, they're scheduled, working on schedule.
Yep.
I wonder how that segues in with what we just supported with the parking restrictions.
So the parking restrictions that you supported were the ones that they supported last month. Remember, you had talked with them, and there was agreement on the median, and then those couple of
I just can't
spots.
remember the roads
Yep.
well enough, and so I just wanted to
Yep.
confirm that. I just didn't want to ask that. Okay, fair enough, thank you.
On our committee report, public safety was canceled, so.
Okay, well, that's written down here, right? Okay, anything additional?
Oh, it was canceled, yeah.
Okay. I was going to report on the organic waste drop-off, which Ben referred to. So that's starting this summer, and it's going to be at the 2 sites I mentioned. The Hogbaker site is behind where I turn off to autos, and then Millbrook Marsh. And the chair and vice chair for Lucy Committee, the chair is Denny Haymeister, and the vice chair is you said his name earlier. Matt Herndon, sorry.
Oh, Matt is going to take over as vice chair, is that what
As
you're
vice
saying?
chair of the Lucy Committee.
And just back to the, back to the refuge, is that a pilot program then, or is that
No,
supposed to be
it was a
permanent?
pilot program.
It was a pilot
So this,
program 2
so,
years
okay.
ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years
So
ago.
that's now going to be rolled out at the end of the summer, is that what you said?
This is going to be, I guess it's next year, so I'm just, although I think it's going to be year-round. I think they're rolling it out, so I've forgotten that. When it's going to be.
Because they're just asking for funding for it now.
They're asking for it, so it would be budgeted in 2027.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
So
yeah.
it would roll out in 2027.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, great. That's it. That's for me. Anybody have anything to, okay. Any other business? And number 12, I'll take a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Okay. Yeah, motion.
Is that the one?
Yeah, say it.
I did. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, great, we're adjourned.